Attitude for Gratitude, and you know I am kicking it with my best friend,
Timmy J.
Hey, you know what? Tim, cut the promo.
What the hell? Let's do it. Here at 2218, that's the place that's putting on the podcast. We just want you to know that if you are able to and willing to, that there will be links up. Go ahead and find the links. And if you're able to donate, please do so. And also, we're going to be getting into this later, but the Ride for Recovery is coming up, and that's part of this promo.
The
Go
last
ahead.
Saturday of June. And
Boom.
look, if you're looking to help or you just want to come to it, it's going to be a block party in addition for the motorcycle ride. So you don't have to ride motorcycles to be a part of that. It's a fun time, man.
Hell yeah.
You can get a hold of me. And if you're ever looking to help with this show, like you want to come do some of the computer stuff, you want to do some graphics, we need intro tracks. We need all that stuff.
Yep.
You know how to get a hold of me at Tad Ackerman on Facebook, and you can get a hold of me for anything, for the club stuff, for the show stuff, for the Ride for Recovery, or you can get a hold of Tim
at Timothy J. Warren on Facebook as well. And same, what Tad said, same for me. Like, if you need it, bottom line, if you need to talk, I'm here for you. Just reach out. Let us know why you're reaching out, and just please do. Don't hesitate.
So, with that being said, like I said, this is an interactive show. Look, man, be in the comment sections. We've seen in the past how this can help being in the comment sections. It's a resource. And also, besides that, just, we need questions. So ask questions for our guests, which, speaking of our guests, we have two great ones today. And they are Erin. You want to say hi?
Hey, everyone. It's Erin.
Hi,
And
Erin.
Victoria, you want to say hi?
Hi, I'm Victoria.
Hey, Victoria.
I'm pumped about this show. These are two of my favorite ladies.
Yes.
And this is going to be one of our best shows ever. I know I say that every week.
It's a way to kick off Women's Month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is it.
Yeah, and these are two kick-ass women in recovery
That's
that are
right.
doing the damn thing.
She gave that 50-50 sign like, no, we know you're full of it.
And,
trying.
before we get into the show, Victoria can speak on volunteering at the club because we always need volunteer. You can because you do volunteer at the club.
I volunteer, Saturday nights at the desk.
What's that like?
It's really fun, It's not stressful. It's just making people feel welcome. It's actually a great time. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to pick your brain a little more later about it, but that's just so the audience knows, like, this is it's a full circle situation here. Like, people that are on the show that go to meetings here, we all help. And that's like the gratification of that is you can't pay for it. It's awesome.
Hey, we have some good news. One of our biggest fans is back in recovery, Little Bear.
Little Bear's back.
Yeah, he made it. He's out. Well, I'm not going to say where he is, but he's out where he's at. And
Perfect.
Just want to give you a shout out, bro. Me and my buddy are going to go visit him on Sunday, and the place he's at said we could kidnap him for a while because
Sweet.
I'm responsible.
Oh, it's kind of crazy nowadays.
Yeah, they just don't know. All right. You ready, Tim?
Well, besides smashing the like button,
Oh, dude. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your grandma, tell anybody and everybody about this and share it. If they're into recovery, if they're not into recovery, just share it. If we can be helpful, we want to be helpful. And we always try and have fun here. And don't forget to smash that like button.
smash.
All right. Let's chop it up.
Chop it up.
What's up,
Yo.
guys?
Guys and gals.
Erin, do you want to start or should I start?
Go ahead.
Oh,
Okay.
boy.
Well, we decided to talk about program of action, kind of how, so recovery is just kind of full of seemingly vague concepts to me, especially when I first started. I didn't really get AA or what I needed to do. I knew I needed to change. So we kind of decided to talk about different instances in our recovery where we didn't know what would happen. We didn't really believe in what we were doing, but we knew we needed to do something.
Right.
And so we got results that we didn't expect and couldn't deny.
Right.
Like right away, instantly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes it was right away, sometimes it was a long time in, but something had to happen, something had to change, and, I didn't have any faith in myself or anything I was doing, so I just
Right.
put faith completely into the program. I mean, it kind of started for me when my cover was blown, when I had to tell everyone that I was an addict. It was kind of done for me. I was living with somebody, and they didn't know that I was using every single day. My family didn't know. None of my friends knew. And when it was found out, I had to tell everyone, and I had to be really open about my addiction. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done, I think, to actually face people and say that I was an addict and that I'd been an addict for years.
loved ones and like your family and friends, like everyone in your life?
My parents, my sister. I mean, I took my sister on a walk and talked to her about it. Like, my parents
Right.
don't know about drugs. Like,
Right.
they're from Eastern Europe.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was like an educational process for everyone, I guess. But, then I went to inpatient treatment. And for me, group therapy just seemed so foreign. Like, I had this whole mantra of don't talk about your feelings, don't talk about your problems.
Right.
People can't help you anyway.
Right.
If you tell them your problems, it's just giving them ammunition to hurt you later.
It's a paramount shift from going from I got to do it all on my own with the drugs and that code, that street code or
Right.
whatever, to we.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's the mindset you had at that time was like, there's nothing anyone else can do. So what's the point?
Yeah, I thought that it was kind of my responsibility to like hide my pain from my people that I cared about because it would just be putting a burden on them.
Right.
I mean, that was just the lie I told myself.
We're good at that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us feel that way.
Right. Like, I think that, like I said, like,
I still tell myself that shit.
yeah. Unfortunately, that's one of the things. Like, it's a daily reprieve for me. Like, I share about it with everyone in meetings and like friends. Like, I'm still working on that. So I'm waiting for someone to say, Tim, it does go away, but
Right.
Yeah.
you work on it. That's
I
all we
went
can
through
do.
some shit like that today. And I just wanted to keep doing stuff instead of telling people, but I had to call people. Like I called Tim for some stuff and I had to tell him what was going on with me. Like, hey, dude, this is what happened. And Tim was just like, that's scary and you need to take care of yourself.
Well, Elena brought that up a few shows ago. Like, and good shout out Elena's in the house.
yeah, Elena is
about self care.
yeah.
Like that's huge in this. Like self love, self care. Like we're still learning how to do that. We're already taking a left turn on your conversation. Sorry. Go.
Oh, no, it's okay.
You're telling us about you had to share this with your family and your loved ones.
Yeah, and I mean, in inpatient and outpatient, just the constant talking about yourself, telling everyone what's up with yourself. Like, sharing in meetings was so hard for me at first. And I didn't know what it would do, but I knew that I had to do it. And I knew that I was encouraged to do it. And through that, I slowly learned to become vulnerable with people. And I learned how to build relationships that were based on mutual trust versus like mutual exploitation.
Was it your was it your counselors that were or like who were you taking the direction from when you went to your inpatient treatment?
Counselors, I was thrown in this new environment. I'd never been to treatment before. And I was like, well, I guess this is what we're doing. Like, we're just talking about ourselves all day. So foreign to me, but
Can I ask you a personal question? It doesn't matter either.
of course.
Is this your first go at recovery?
Yes-ish. I had 2 relapses, like when last spring, but yes-ish.
But like right after relapse, you got right back. I mean, you were in recovery, relapsed in recovery, relapsed right back in recovery.
Yeah.
So it's been like nonstop.
I still feel like a baby to the program.
Right.
I mean, I started using when I was 29. I'm 35 today, so
And
it was a quick one.
I guess our listeners don't know, and maybe Tim does it. I just know because I know you guys personal, and you don't mind if I share your guys' relationship?
No, go ahead.
So you guys are sponsor-sponsee.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
Erin is the sponsor. Victoria is the sponsee.
Awesome sauce. That's
Yep.
cool. So I'm gonna kind of, and I'm not picking apart just what you're telling us, but for me, the big thing for me of letting the guards down, because I've shared this a lot, and eventually I'll be a guest on my own show, and you guys will all hear it. But like when I got into recovery, I Googled it. I didn't know how to get. I didn't know.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah.
Though.
Like
That's
a lot
so-
of people get a kick out of that, but it's like.
But you did it.
And I didn't know how because I only had a cousin in Arizona that I heard
Hey, man.
recovery about. Like I heard about it,
Yeah.
but I didn't know how to do it.
Tim,
What did Google tell you?
Everything that I've done, like honestly, I'm glad I didn't go down a rabbit hole of some of the darker shit that's online because you could, like my ear hurts before you know it. I got cancer of the knee.
Was it a
Like,
WikiHow page?
No, honestly, I was like, it was one of those situations where I was like probably in not a stupor, but usually you're not at a high point when you get to the point of Googling how to get clean.
Yeah. Oh my
So like you can imagine where the state of mind was. I just know that it mentioned detox and then basically shut up and listen. Like that's what I was like there's that moment of lucidity fortunately I had where I was able to take that part out where it was like go to detox. And from there like and I always every week I share like I had the support of my mom, my dad, like I told them, they supported me. It was not really a surprise to my folks, but I don't think they knew the depths of how bad it had gotten for me. And I just, like, for me to listen to someone else, like, I was fighting from day one internally. Like, who the hell? I'm like, I'm like an adult. Who are you to tell me how to do X, Y, and Z? And you want me to sit all day and talk about myself? Like, that was foreign to me.
Yeah.
So that's why I always want to ask that of other people when they tell me that aspect of it. Like, when you went in, you were just, is that what it was? Like, just guard down and, okay, lay it on me. Is that kind of how it was for you?
I mean, yeah, kind of. Like I was done fighting. I had nothing left within me. I was going through serious withdrawal from meth. I'll do whatever you tell me to do.
Right? Like the gift of desperation type of scenario.
Exactly.
That's how I met Victoria. We were actually in a meeting together, and this was right after your last relapse. And she was in the meeting, and she was just like, I don't remember what your words were. It was basically like, I don't want to get high. And you could just like see the desperation in her. And it was just like a God moment that I even went to that meeting. I'd never been to that meeting, and I haven't been to it ever since. But I went up to her and I was like, you need to have my number. Like, she's just, it was just amazing. I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, that type of a situation, like I bring up my mom a lot. Like, I was sharing with her recently, like I was on a Zoom meeting from some people from New York. Like, a fellow addict told me about it, and I'm not a big Zoom guy because we've been here in Minnesota. Like, we're fortunate to have in-person meetings still. 2218's monumental for that so far. But I was on this Zoom meeting, and a lady shared, and it still just it like cut deep. She sat for like 5 minutes, and she wasn't just crying, poor me, but she's like, I just don't want to use. Like, she was in her car sharing with. There was like 140 people, and she's bawling, like, I just don't want to use. She meant it. It wasn't bullshit. Like, that desperation. And she even said, she's like, I just don't know what to do, but I don't want to use it. She's crying and losing her shit. It's like, those are the moments, like, anyone who could have been put in front of her. And luckily, she was on a meeting. She collected like 30 numbers. It's just, that's where the in-person versus the Zoom, like, she still has to make the next step to pick the phone up. Like, you were there in person, and you're able to say, like, here's my number. And then you guys started, getting to know each other and talking and making it comfortable enough for you to make this relationship grow. Did you ask her to sponsor you right there?
No, I was very shy about sponsorship. I had kind of like hoped for a sponsor and kind of waited, and I didn't know how to recover. I didn't know how to find a sponsor.
And we don't know when we first.
Yeah, and people talk about it like it's this magical thing, like your sponsor will come out of the mist, and she did. That's exactly how it worked.
I was like over here, like I kind of did.
Just kind of started floating. And
Well, it sounds like it, at a meeting you've never been to and you haven't been to since, like, out of the blue, you're at a meeting, and that, like, people talk about God moments, things like that. Like, yeah, that's out of the mist.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the
misty
chances? Like, you went to some foreign meeting and then you meet. Now how long have you guys been working together?
9 months.
Yeah.
I just got 9 months sober.
and I'll tell you,
when was that?
14th.
yeah.
Hell yeah!
I'll tell you, as an outsider watching, I remember when I started seeing Erin around, and then all of a sudden, I suppose like 9 or 8 months ago, you started coming with her to the place that we all know each other from, and I don't know, it's just an interesting thing to see because I've watched you grow as a person, from downstairs to in meetings to talking to you, and you were very shy and reserved. Like, it's taken me 6 months of being your friend to get to know you, and it's not like we're having tea or anything, or going out for coffee
We could
every
have
day.
tea.
Was that a Europe thing or no? I'm just.
I don't know. I'm just trying to be more sophisticated. I'm trying to get to the next level of Tad. I'm on the board and stuff. I'm trying to do adult stuff. I figured tea
you
sounded
are.
more adult than.
Then a
Let's go
Red
sit
Bull.
on the porch and have some Red Bull and smoke some Marlboros. I mean,
It's all about growth and recovery.
Yes. Well, you know what? And I can relate. Like, with my sponsor, I didn't. I guess I'm lying. I called a guy from my inpatient treatment and asked him to. No, my mommy did.
your mom did?
My mom reached out to someone in recovery and said, "Hey, would you?" She didn't know. She was like, "I don't even know. I don't know the exact story, but like, she knew I was looking at asking someone that
Tim.
she had the number to." My mommy saved
Your mom
me.
is so amazing. But can everyone here imagine if you got that phone call?
I'm laughing my ass off.
That's
Dude, what would you
Beautiful.
say if someone's mom called you?
Wow, your son's up. No, I'm joking.
You'd
I don't
say
know.
yes.
It all depends on. Oh, of course you do. Yeah. No, he was in a corner. Like, there's no way he could have said
Well,
no.
I got-
Oh, tell him to figure it out. Like there's no response to that.
I got put in one of those situations today.
That's how
I didn't get a phone call, but I got it in person. Well, I know a guy.
Right.
What are you doing? And
Like those are the connections, though.
well, here, give him my number.
Right.
And then I met with him and, gave him the spiel. And, of course, I called my sponsor to bug him on his vacation to ask him if I could help this guy. And
He give you the all clear?
oh, yeah, of course he did.
Yeah.
He's been throwing me out there. So, because
So that, you know what, though, I see that, like, that's that bigger picture, the networking,
well, there's something to be said
connection.
about it, though. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm sure Erin can speak about it. So I do a lot of service work. Tim, you do a lot of service work. And it's different. Like, I also have to do meetings. Doing all the service work I do doesn't do what working one-on-one with someone does for me.
Exactly.
It's almost like reworking this. I don't know. It does something for me that nothing else can do. Helping another addict
Right.
one-on-one makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I think it helps me more than it helps them. I don't know. I'm not to say.
I hear sponsors share about that all the time. Like,
Keeps my ego
A
in check,
big
too.
thing, like I always share about this, is I've been to a meeting. I was at a meeting. There's a lot of not old timers, but a lot of people with substantial clean time, and they're talking about issues they're having with their sponsees. And this other old timer who will be on the show, basically, he looked at me. He's like, "So, did you get drunk during the time of working with your sponsee?" Like this guy was bitching about all these problems with his sponsee. He's like, "Did you drink over it?" And he's like, "Well, no." He's like, "Yeah, it helps you more probably half the time than you're helping them." Like that's our predecessors knew what they're doing. I guess that's I lean on that statement all the time. Like I don't need to question this. Like there's plenty of years of like proof. Like and
Yeah.
who am I to think I'm going to change any of it? I don't want to. Like I get caught in my head thinking I'm going to sometimes, but this has already been set in stone for us. Like it's written, it's in ink. The answer, the solution's right there.
And it's nice because it's not our responsibility to make it up as we go.
Exactly. Like
Right.
Like and that's huge. That's an extra burden we don't need while we're trying to, figure back out how to live life a healthy way,
Give some shout outs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got tons of people already. Like JP's on my knee.
Melinda, hey, how you doing?
yes.
Joa,
Yes.
that's our guy right there, Joa.
Yes.
He's one of, Little Bear, I will tell you, since you were gone, Joa took your number one fan spot.
Yeah, well, you can regain it.
You guys can share it, but
James, what's up? You know what?
I actually think those two would get along.
Yeah, of course.
Like I think those two would be best friends if they
Yeah.
got to meet. I really do.
I'm going to tell a quick story here about one of our listeners. So about a week ago, my nephew my niece's boyfriend called me. My niece's boyfriend texted and said, "Give me a call." I called him. He's like, "Hey, tomorrow, can you make sure you and your mom are around?" I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Well, and your brother," his girlfriend's dad, and he's like, "Oh, and your dad." Like, okay. I was like, "It's not bad news, right?" Like, because we just don't don't put me on a 24-hour hold and wait for bad
Oh,
news.
you can't handle waiting, dude.
No.
You automatically assume the worst.
No,
You
of course, that's what we do. And I tell my mom this, and she's like,
No,
"Well,
Tim's extra like that.
And I'm like, he said it's not bad news because for 24 hours we're like, no, what could it be? I'm like, well, maybe he won the lottery. Like, you never know. And I'm like, well, if she's not coming, like we're real close with my niece, like, and she's listening. Like, shout out Samantha. But he came over and like they're 24, 25, young. He sat down. He's like, I've been with your niece for X amount of time, 7 years, and I just wanted to get your guys' blessing. And he pulled a ring out, and he came to our whole family like a man who's like, I'm gonna propose to Samantha. Like it was huge, like, and like, tears and this from me, like, and the reason I wanted to share that, like, she listens every week. She's on now, and like that's one of our fans. She's a normie. Like they're normal.
Oh,
like,
we got a whole group.
Yeah,
of
that's what. And like
normies that
the
listen
reason
to
I'm
this show.
sharing this is
There's
because
there's a group of 85-year-old church ladies.
yeah,
that listen to
and
this
we're
on
gonna
Saturdays.
talk about that too. But like I told my dad that on the way here, I was like, I wanted to share about that because like in recovery, like before, I wouldn't have even cared. Like I wouldn't have been able to appreciate that situation at all. Like it'd have been like, well, it has nothing to do with me.
And-
See ya.
Well, and the reason we do bring this stuff up, part of the thing is, this is a great tool for. Do you ever get tired of bowling? Joe wants to know.
And Joe, he knows that inside jokes suck on here because like it's our
Tim,
inside
do you?
jokes.
Do you though?
I'm so tired, Joe. That he knows that's my answer.
Is it exhausting being a baller?
That was for him.
Is it though?
All right, so congratulations, Niecy. She's now a fiance, and I have a nephew.
Yay. Yay.
So we're going to jump over to Erin.
But she might not have been done. She had a whole look
Okay.
at. She's got like
She's
four.
got
She
books?
got like books.
Well,
of-
I just want to
did-
jump in on the sponsorship topic
Yeah,
that we were talking
go.
about. Because also I got to give Victoria some, it's a real life story about how we help each other. So me and Victoria, we were talking about amends in the summer, and I was really struggling with and resentments. We were talking about resentments, and I had a really strained relationship with my mother, and I could hardly be around her without being triggered. And I remember her telling me this story about this guy in a meeting she was at, and he was talking about how his relationship with his mom was so bad, and I remember your words exactly. They were that he prayed about it, and that now his relationship, he couldn't ask for a better relationship with his mother. And I remember when you told that to me, I was like, that really hit me. First of all, because I'm such a believer in prayer, and God is my rock and my foundation and my recovery. And I'm like, am I missing something? But inside of me, I was like, no, man, she just drives me crazy. I don't know how prayer can help, man.
about your mom?
Yes. But I tell you right now, I spend time with my mom every Sunday, and our relationship has completely shifted. And it was through that conversation I had with you that spurred this, and I just began praying about it, and I began opening my heart to this, and really just desiring to change and looking at myself instead of focusing on her. And I mean, that's just a prime example about how, you can help one another. I remain teachable. I know that I don't have it all figured out, and I don't try to pretend like I do in front of my sponsees. Like, I just rely on the text, and I love them, and that's all I can do. The results are up to whatever, the program, God, and just the way things work. We get blessed when we do the right thing.
Right. So, like, inadvertently working with this sponsee, because you have more than one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so working with this sponsee, inadvertently, now you're closer with your mom because of something that was said, like, out of the blue.
Yeah.
See how that works? Powerful.
Yeah, resentments were a big action thing for me too. Like, how do you go about, letting go of a resentment that you don't feel ready to? Like, how do you do that? And I kind of, just through listening to what people said in meetings, I had a few realizations. First of all, forgiving somebody doesn't mean that you're saying what they did was okay. You're not forgiving them because they deserve forgiveness. You're forgiving them because you deserve to no longer suffer with
Right.
that resentment.
Yeah.
And so something I've learned how to practice is just pray for that person, even if it's like a joke in your mind at first.
I used to take issue with that.
It sometimes
but
has
once
to
you
be.
do it,
Yeah, something
Yeah.
I like, it sounds weird, but I like to picture, like, whoever it is in my mind, I like to picture them being in trouble in some way. Like, say they have a flat tire, and I picture myself helping them. That, for some reason,
Sounds like a good method.
over time, for some reason, that really softens my heart towards people.
Well,
and
it's such a good example of like what we're talking about, like just being open to something, and then just being open to praying for my mom. I got results. I didn't believe in it. I didn't think it was
Right,
going to work,
right.
but I just did it. I just
Exactly.
did it.
full disclosure, when I had a closed heart and a closed mind, so like my grandma, huge fan of the show, big in the church.
She's part of our big church group.
Yeah, she and
Hey, Grandma.
hi grandma, and it's always to thy will be done, and give it to God, and and she's telling me to pray for people. And full disclosure, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the country song "I'll Pray for You," but in this song, the person's like, I pray your brakes go out, your car falls off a cliff, I pray a piano falls on you, and that's really what I did when she tell me to pray for him. If I had a problem with Tim, she'd be like, and I'm like, okay, I'll
breaks a
pray,
leg.
and it didn't do anything for me, and because I had a closed mind and a closed heart,
Right.
and once I actually started doing what you guys are talking about, it makes it. Hey, it might not fix them, but it at least opens my mind and my heart, and and my head's different, and I can look at people like, what do they say? Look at them like a sick friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the goal of doing 9 is it's for yourself. Like, a lot of times, we hurt so many people along our path of addiction, and we forget, like, we need to fix
it's that
what's
weird
in
thing.
here because of the
It's that
guilt
weird
we've
thing.
laid on
Being
us.
selfless becomes something that helps you almost more than it
Yeah.
helps other
Yeah.
people.
100%. I agree with that statement.
But
Yeah.
there's also that, as we all know, You got to take care of number one sometimes too,
Yes,
and
yes.
it's a bitch.
Well, and taking care of others, like inadvertently. Again, I've used that word. I'm happy with it.
It's
like,
the word of the day.
I
is
kind of like full
inadvertently.
disclosure, that little statement.
Yeah, right.
I do. But yeah, inadvertently, like helping people, like getting outside yourself, volunteering, doing something that doesn't benefit yourself. At the end of the day, like ends up benefiting yourself.
Boom.
Like
It does. And it's such a good insurance program for your
Yes.
recovery. It is.
Yeah.
Like, I know for me, I've been working at home through COVID, so I'm pretty isolated. And all my commitments to my sponsees gets me, I some days I struggle. And I would sit at home and if I didn't have these, commitments. And I go and I always feel better. I always feel better.
right.
Yeah, I don't think
So-
people care one way or the other who's sitting at the door at the front desk, but I love doing it. Like, I guess
How do you know?
yeah.
Some people do prefer certain people there.
Well, maybe they're not here for the right reasons then. No, I'm joking. I know you're talking about.
I was just about to say I like Saturdays when I come and I see you here.
I'm an asshole.
But it's
love
not
it.
just it's not just her that's here. I got some other friends
Well, to
that
walk
work
in and
with
see
her.
someone with a smile, that's like people talk about that, like the gift of a smile. It's not bullshit. Like someone smiling inadvertently.
I had something I wanted to ask
Go for it,
Erin
'cause I'll go down that.
and I'm losing it slowly. So I think I can. So you were talking about how you at one point you just kind of lived for your activities that you had. That's not exactly how you said it, but you had the events and you were talking about meetings and your service work. That was kind of your schedule for a while.
On this show, I talked about that.
You said something similar to that, but.
Okay, keep going.
How does one transition into having a life again without pulling away from recovery?
Oh, that's that's a balance.
Because I struggle
I've been struggling.
Daily.
I've been struggling with this a lot lately.
minutely.
But
Minutely.
one thing I've been doing lately, just because I've been feeling my joy slipping away from me, just because I've been so overwhelmed and so busy, is like, you know what, Erin? First of all, you have to take the advice you give. And so I've been reaching out.
Oh, shit.
I've been reaching out. I've been going to meetings as much as I can. And one thing I do with some of my sponsees is I do a thought journal. Every negative or harmful thought, you write it down. And then at the end of the day, you can pray about it or at least review it, whatever you're comfortable with.
You do that
Oh.
daily?
My thoughts have been attacking me lately. I've just been so overwhelmed. It's stressful and it gets negative. And I am a miracle and I've lived enough misery to know that I cannot live that way anymore. you
Right.
know?
Right.
I cannot do that. So, and that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes it's a struggle and we
So-
gotta go back to our tools.
So at times you still struggle daily that you're talking about.
Currently, right now, yeah.
How much time do you, if you don't mind, what?
I have a little over 3 years.
Yeah, that's.
I wouldn't get that from you because
Yeah,
to
me
me,
neither.
to
Me
me, you're
neither.
one of those people that I look at and you're well put together, and I just always think, look, Erin's going to show up. She's going to be polite. She's always
Yeah.
got her shit together.
Yeah,
And-
100%.
And
Always.
for real. And if I'm having a stressful day, all I got to do is get a hug from Erin and a
Right.
5-minute conversation. My day's back on track. That's what I.
Like show up, suit up, boot
I love
up.
people.
I was like, if I could ever have my shit together as much as Erin, I will have arrived. Like that's what I thought.
Right. Well,
It's a
and
miracle. You guys had if you could just see 1 minute
Well,
of who I was.
But people think the same
who
stuff
you
about
were.
all
Yeah.
of us. There's people who think that about you from the front desk. There's people constantly tell me how Timmy has his shit together, and I have to correct them. I
Yeah,
have to
thanks,
be like,
Dad.
look.
Thanks, buddy.
And vice versa.
Right.
People that don't know me think I do all this stuff so that like I'm Mr. Recovery and I'm super professional, and that's not necessarily true. My friends will tell you.
Well, and sometimes my ego wants me to
Right.
to put on this show. Like my ego, I've shared a lot with Joe talking about that. Like I will catch myself doing things, and Matt too has really helped me lately, big time. Is what's the motive or like?
Well, and
not
that's why.
motive,
And that's why we had our. I don't know if it was exact. It was a mission statement unofficially, but we had what was our mission statement for this show? There were only two things.
well, the main for me it was made basically talking about this new way of living.
But we had a mission statement, two things: to be helpful and to have fun.
Oh yeah, that's
it.
That's yes.
And
Yeah.
that
When we
and-
started this, that's what it was.
Yeah, and as long as that is the core and everything builds from that, we won't go wrong.
Right.
Well, there
And
you go. Apply that to your life, and you're good.
Yeah, it full circles on you.
Thanks.
But like you said,
Right?
like, but you've even said like that sometimes the monster between my ears want to tell me some other story, and especially when you're by yourself with your thoughts, shit starts brewing.
Yeah.
Things start getting brought up in your head, and you start co-signing your own bullshit. You start thinking, my thoughts sometimes will run, and if I don't do like you're talking about, whoa. If you don't get outside yourself, if I don't get outside myself, if I don't show up to some other meetings or do some fellowship or get here to the podcast,
Do fun stuff.
yes,
I have to do
that is the best. To me, it's the best medicine.
It's crazy, dude. I have these responsibilities. I have to do this, and I got to pay my bills, and I got to take personal time, self-care time, and all that shit, and I got to do my program stuff, and then I got to find time to have fun too, and then I got to include my family and relationships are fucking work.
Like you're talking
Yeah.
about life.
Yeah.
Like the stuff
Adulting.
that for so long we just escaped from. Like I don't want to deal with that. Like I got a better idea.
Or it wasn't even an option because no one would mess with us.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless they needed something from
I
us.
still ask myself, working like a full-time job, I'm like, "God, this can't be normal.
Oh, I'm right there with
Like,
you.
it just seems like so much.
Where's the hack?
Part of my so much of my
Yeah,
life
where's
is
the hack?
I
That's
am-
perfect.
them.
I am telling
Like
you.
where's the secret?
I am telling you right now that knowing that the professional put together Erin struggles with all the stuff that
Yeah.
I've been struggling with lately, I feel a lot better.
I don't. And I talk like your misery
human.
is not
I am
my
human.
happiness, but in a way I feel that way by agreeing with Tad. Like, not your misery is my happiness, but to know that like you're one of us. Sometimes
I am.
because you do like you do show up, suit up, boot up, all that good shit. And you're at meetings. I've heard you share like, and you present yourself well. And why wouldn't someone think that? Like no one's gonna think she struggles. Like it's just. This new life is awesome. I don't know how else to say it. Like,
I hear you. I hear you.
because I can't imagine when you shared, like, even before we sat down, like, just a little story about sorrow's not mine. Like, just hearing you say, I'm like, oh, shit. Like, there's no way. Like,
Well,
Right.
I tend to share the real stuff in smaller groups.
her
just
sponsee's
do.
over here shaking her head,
I
like,
just do.
yeah.
I just do.
Well, it's more connection.
Intimate, yeah.
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 I was going to use that word, and then I tried to come up with another
What,
word.
intimate?
Yeah.
Oh.
But
It is women's month.
no, it was awkward because we were staring,
staring
in the
at me in the
eyes while we were smiling, so I used a different word.
Cosmic in here, you guys.
Oh, totally.
Right.
Totally.
Well, the feng shui.
But you know,
in here.
and that's the thing and you have to be mindful of that is that you don't know what people are going through. You know, you really don't.
Right.
No.
You just don't.
Every time I've been vulnerable, whether it's on this show or wherever, it's. Well, yeah, I grow.
I always
That
see
wasn't
that
what I was
audio.
going to get at. But that's true. I make connections with people, and they tell me like, I've never not shared something like when I was talking on the show about being molested,
Right.
as a kid, and things like that. I've never not shared something that used to be a burden or one of my
Right.
huge traumas, and I've never had anyone come up and say, "You're fucking a piece of shit. You're unique. You deserve that."
Right, right.
That's never happened.
Right.
I've always had either a pour of people supporting me or a lot of people coming up and saying,
Well, you told me that.
"Me too."
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
It happened to me too. You're not look, or this. Like, dude, if you wouldn't have said that until you said that, I thought I was alone.
Right.
And now I know that I'm not.
Well, and that was your breakthrough moment in recovery, wasn't it?
Yeah, okay, yeah, and I've had it a couple times because I'm thick-headed. So like, there's multiple different things that I was traumatized, and I go back to thinking I'm terminally fucking unique.
Huh. That's the monster in between
Yeah,
your ears.
and, like no one else is doing this stuff. No one, and that's just not true. Someone else is doing exactly similar to what we're doing and has been through. Maybe not to the details, but to the T. But you know,
Right.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what we started out. You were saying the transition from the I to the we program.
Yeah.
You know, like and knowing that you're in a room with people that no matter what you say, they're going to accept you and they understand it is just so unique.
It's powerful.
well,
It's so unique.
and in my life today, and I'm sure you guys can all attest to this. Everyone in the room, there's nothing I do alone. There isn't, whether it's a show, things I do on the board, things I do, anything I do. I have a team of people. And if I did do it alone, I think we've been over this. The lights would be off. There'd be cases of Red Bull and Marlboro Red 100s, and that would be all that would be. That's where we'd be at.
Hey, he's honest. He's honest.
A big part of the steps is to bring us back into connection with the people around us. I mean, it's all repairing the relationships. Learning how to connect with everyone around us again. That's what keeps us sane and healthy, I think.
Yeah.
My outpatient counselor, she was real big on that, and one of our producers, we used to talk about that, is she had a statement. She would say it at least 3 times a week, was the opposite of addiction is connection. Like, that didn't hit home for me until like 2 years into my recovery. It didn't make sense. Like, I didn't put 2 and 2 together that is just going from I to we.
Yeah.
Like doing this together and not alone, that connection, I understand now, that is the opposite of addiction. Like, the horrors of addiction versus having a team, like Ted's saying, I can't put a value on it. I really can't, because we didn't have that in active addiction.
No, we didn't. And
Real quick, shout out to Charlene. Hey, girl.
Charlene.
Hey.
Thank you for everyone who's checking in, too. Send us some questions. If anyone has any questions for Erin or Victoria or Tad or myself, please send them in. We are more than happy to answer questions.
I have a question for you.
Me? He's looking me at the eyes again. Go ahead.
Do you always, like, so the shit we forget, because we're not super professional, if you guys didn't know this.
Far from it.
So every freaking week, I think of all the stuff I forget to talk to you guys while we're on the fucking air.
Okay, you're asking me if what?
No, does that happen to you too?
Yes, 100%.
And I'm going to forget by the time we're off there.
Well, here's an example. Is I was going to have some things written down for the show, the promo, certain things that I've started on doing, and I forgot it.
Yeah, speaking of that, we got to have that done before other people host the show so they know what to say.
Well, I didn't even send our guests out. Like, typically, you guys would have got a message on Monday telling you what the show's about and kind of what to expect.
And part of that is we're in a transition. Me and Tim when I say we do everything, that does not mean by any stance that anyone else helps.
Just some of the aspects
we did a
he's
lot
about
of
to
stuff,
talk about.
And now Elena's here, and Elena's going to be doing the booking. Elena's going to be wearing 75 hats and doing that stuff. Because Elena is awesome. She's
a beast.
Yeah.
She's the grease of the wheels of this show, straight up. Like, and she was our guest. What was it? 4 weeks ago. Her and Ashley were on. But
the beginning of the month.
She's taking care of. She's put together some online calendars for us. She's put all of everyone's info in there. Like, and we just have to have a couple more meetings. Like, we always share this to the show. And if I would have sent it out to you guys would have read it. Like, we're figuring it out as we go.
So what I would like to do, since she's going to do booking, and I'm just going to say it now that it's on the show, because then we have a record. I would like to get a business card with Elena's name on it.
Of course.
So that's how we would do booking.
Hey, bro, I'm just the talent. I hands off. This is all her. She's boss lady.
Tell you and I go road tripping by ourselves, and we have to figure out how to do everything.
Yeah. There you go. Wait, say that louder. What'd you say, Lana?
I'm going to.
There you go. I don't have to.
We don't have to learn nothing. We just
Eric, I hope you're listening. We don't have to. No, I'm joking. And it's not going to hurt. If there's a technical issue or something, it doesn't hurt. But basically, back to what Tad's question was.
Can I give a special shout out?
Go for it.
Hey, she says she loves you. Amber says she loves you, Elena.
Amber does love me.
I just wanted to give a special shout out to my friend Amber.
That's right.
She's going to be on the show, and I hope you're having a great day.
That's right, Matt. That's who we were talking about.
You shout out to Maddie.
Yeah, he knows. That's love, brother, love. So I want to carry that question over to our guest.
Yes,
as Tad was asking, like, basically, I think it's a common answer, but like, to me, that's something I struggle with. Like, it's
squirrel
brain. It's an irritant for me, and certain people have suggested maybe some medication, like the whole ADD thing. No, I'm being serious. I just had this conversation with Matt at breakfast.
I know you're being serious.
And it's like I'm so scared of another medication being brought into my life or another dependent. It's like it's a big deal for me to have to even entertain the thought of putting something else in my body besides water, in Red Bull and cigarettes and tobacco. Like, I know what I'm getting at is like that's part of my growth. I know that's an issue for me is this whole scatterbrain thing, and maybe I do have some adult ADD or whatever.
At the doctors today, when they were trying to figure out what happened to me, I was like, could it be from severe caffeine withdrawal? And they're like, people don't ingest that much caffeine. And I'm like, I don't think you appreciate how much Red Bull I drink.
Right.
Like, I'm like,
As a
no.
matter of fact, I've never seen you without one in your hand.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, I have one all week. I have one on Friday.
For 4 days, I was down to one Red Bull a day.
And that's like nothing to
Tiny
him.
cans.
Yeah.
And I normally drink. You know what? I'm not going to say it because I'm embarrassed. I drink a lot. and I told the doctor, and he's like, I don't think that's not I'm like, dude.
I think it could
And
be multiple
I opened up
things.
my backpack and showed him, and he's like, I'm like, that'll all be gone by the time I get home. And he's like, but you've only had one? And I was like, I've been only having one a day. And I don't know, the doctor disbelieved it.
Well, and you never know. Like I told you, it could be a multiple thing. I'm no doctor.
could
Otherwise,
be-
I wouldn't be sitting here.
Well, all they figured out is
maybe
that
I
I'm
would
not
be.
dehydrated.
Right. But see, I
that's
always
good.
thought these do dehydrate you. Like,
Yeah.
my understanding was these, like, suck out the water out of your body. What I drink one Red Bull.
So just
a week
like when
on
I'm
Friday.
drinking it, 2 beers, 1 water, I'm good, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. I was telling my dad that. I was like, he's like, why'd you get all the Red Bulls? I was like, I tried to get our guests all hopped up on energy drinks. Like, that's why I bought them, is for you guys and like
Case it, Matt says cases.
cases. Yeah, Matt knows. Like, hey. So is that something you deal with in recovery? Like the scatterbrain thing, like you're making plans to do things and you're having trouble not following through, but kind of the question Tad was asking, like you make these plans to do things and you're finding yourself not following through with them or addressing them like you want to?
Well, I think that in my recovery, I've definitely had moments where just learning how to deal with life on life's terms was overwhelming and a challenge. And, at that point, I really had to break it down and just like write it down, like, what do I have to do? And that gets easier with time. But just recently, I've kind of turned a corner into another really hectic time, and I've learned that I have to think before I commit to anything. And that could be anything. Like my girlfriend, she's like, hey, let's go for a walk on Saturday. I was like, you know what? I would love to, but I can't commit to that right now because I've been feeling so emotionally drained to where I have nothing to give anybody, let alone myself. So it's like, it's a learning balance. It's a learning process, really. And I think it's constantly evolves as life has different demands and things pick up and lighten up, But for me, I can feel it inside of me when I feel unnerved or, I don't know. For me, my program is very spiritual. I have
Yeah.
a very strong relationship with God.
So what do you do when you feel it inside you like you're describing? Then what's your next step to correct it?
For me, it's like pray. I'm feeling disconnected from God. I'm not hearing from Him. I need to stop. I need to pause. I need to breathe. Like let go of everything for like in the morning. My meditation time, my prayer time, my me time in the morning.
So keep going.
Go ahead.
So let's just pretend that I'm a girl for a second, and I'm one of your sponsees.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, so I get that. When I pray, it's good. When I go to church, I feel good, but I don't always feel like going to church. And you know my schedule, so I'm super busy. So now what? Where do I go from there? Because I forget sometimes.
I lost you.
So like I hear
writing
what
it
you're
down.
saying. I like praying and I like going to church, but I don't always have time. So I get busy, and instead of going back to God, I just keep pushing forward. So what do I do?
Well, everybody has to figure out what works for them. So I figured out what works for me, and that's taking time in the morning. I read my literature, I pray, and that's how I start my day every day. And I will tell you that I did not develop that habit until COVID hit. I struggled with that habit until COVID hit because I was go, 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 go. And so, I wouldn't get to it at night or I wouldn't get to it at all. And
Are you another one of these COVID warriors that got stronger because of COVID?
I definitely seen a lot of blessings through COVID. It slowed me down. And yeah, there's been some blessings through COVID.
COVID changed my life for the better.
Me too.
And
Me too, absolutely.
what are some of the things that happened for you?
After she answered that, we have a question from a guest I want
Okay.
to drop on these
Yep.
girls.
Okay.
I mean, I was just coming off my relapse when COVID first started, and I'm sorry to say it was the perfect environment for me to come back from a relapse. I didn't have to go to work. I had
Right.
money coming in. I could focus on myself. I didn't have any motivation to do anything. I was just such a mess. And then over the time, I've just been able to really focus on my relationships and figure out who's important to me I've applied to graduate school.
Congratulations.
You've never been lazy. I got to add that in.
I've started working out.
You
Like, I
said,
don't
when
know.
do we start the work?
Oh, she's one of those sponsees. She's on you about it?
I'm sorry. I have not missed working every day at all. Like, actually, going to work. Like, I got stuff to do.
I mean, and just to clarify, when we say that, we're not saying we're happy for COVID. We're
No.
not saying any of that.
No.
We're just saying that we've taken the situation that is what it is, and we've gotten blessings.
Right. It sounds like you just took advantage of the situation. Like, wholeheartedly, you took advantage of
This
that situation.
show is one of the blessings of COVID.
That came out of it.
Yeah.
It was birthed out of it.
Yeah, if it wasn't for COVID, there wouldn't be a show.
Right. You're able to give the time to it. So, you know what? Our lady of many hats that we were
Elena,
just talking
she's
about.
question asking now?
Yes,
You got
and
this
we
one?
appreciate it. Like, our guests are busy listening
You
instead
got
of
this
asking
one, Tim?
questions. Yes. I learned how to read last week, so here we go.
Sweet, Tim's gonna help me
Do
with questions now.
you do you find it hard? Do you find it hard to sit in mixed meetings? Like, do you find it hard to sit in mixed meetings? Do you think women should go to all women's meetings? Like, is it? Do you understand the question? What she's asking? All right, let's go with follow up with you again. Victor, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm used to being around a lot of men. I've had trouble in my past having relationships with women. I get along with men, and so I don't have trouble with it. There's definitely a lot of AA meetings where there's more men than women. There's a lot of AA meetings where I think it's a men's meeting because there's just no women. But I've learned to love my women's meetings. I do get a lot out of them that I have never gotten out of a mixed meeting. Like, there's just another vulnerability there. I met my sponsor there, and I've learned
That was
how
a
to,
women's and a woman's meeting.
I've learned how to have relationships with women that are not competitive, that are really based on trust and true friendship. So I'm really grateful to AA for that.
I have to mirror her opinion on the.
I was
men's
gonna
meeting
I was gonna come to us
because
after I want to talk on it.
I
too.
thought you were harping at me about the men's meeting. I thought all of you guys saying that.
Yeah.
The men's meeting, the women's meetings.
I was gonna
fuck you.
yeah.
You're full of shit. And then I started going to Tim's men's meeting, and it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's why I was gonna ask us, like, have us answer that after. But okay, so I'm gonna ask you now. Do you find it hard to sit at mixed meetings, or do you think that women should go to all women's meetings? What's your thought on that?
I will tell you that when I started in my recovery, I was in a year-long program with, a handful of other women. So I was with these women 3 times a week. And I only went to women's meetings for about the first year and a half. I never went to a mixed meeting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I only went to women's meetings. It was the only safe place.
Was that a suggestion, or is that just
That
you
was just
knew?
me.
You
That
knew.
was just me.
You're like, I can't be around men right
didn't-
now, or what
I
was
didn't
the
feel safe in a meeting unless
just
I was
that
with
that
women.
easy? You just didn't
Yeah.
feel safe.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay.
And so I did what works.
Right. No,
and that
that's
was okay with me. And so when I started coming to, after COVID, my home group kind of really shut down. And so I started coming to 2218 more. And that's when I started getting more into mixed meetings. And so I do both. And I like them both.
Yeah, no, I fully, you know what, and what I got out of your answer is basically like everyone's situation is different. Like at the time of you coming into the rooms, like you knew you needed to be around all women.
Yeah.
That's you have to feel safe. We have an anonymity statement, so we've been really kind of pushing lately, and it's like we go to meetings, we have to feel safe. Like we can't benefit from the goal of a meeting unless you are in there feeling safe to open up and share. Like that's what we do in these meetings. You got to be able to be like open. And if I don't feel safe at a meeting to be open, what's the point? Like you're not going to get a benefit out of it. So
Right.
I agree with that. Now, Tad, do you feel it beneficial to be at all men's meetings versus mixed, or what's your thoughts on that? I know you
have
kind of
a
talked about it.
variety of thoughts on it. So, which Tad are you asking? Because if you're just asking Tad, the member of the meeting,
but I'm asking for your
you-
recovery, what works best for
it
your
depends
recovery?
because it depends on what hat I'm wearing. Because now, as the security guy, I wish.
No,
that-
what
yeah.
I'm asking is when
me?
when you have a spare
The
hour.
Tad that was so desperate that he would do anything to be sober.
Then
Yes.
it doesn't
That
matter.
Tad.
Then it doesn't matter.
See, okay.
But had I done what she did, I probably would have been a little bit better off had I just stuck with men.
Right.
But like I've shared before, I was coming off a molestation from a guy. And I didn't want to. And all I heard last time when I was in treatment before, men with men and men and men.
Right,
and I did
right,
that. And
right.
I did that. And I got hurt.
And you had some.
So when anyone said that to me, I said, "You don't fucking know. I don't want to be around guys," and I didn't.
Right.
And I didn't. But I also didn't want to be around women necessarily either because of my relationship issues. So like I didn't know whether I was coming.
Felt lost, right?
Yeah, I had to not be told what to do and find my own way.
Find your own way.
Do I think had I found that men's meeting that you suggested had been offered to me for the last 3 years? Earlier, would that have been great? Yeah, probably. But I mean,
It's such a hit and miss, though.
I do, however, coherently think that, and this is just me, my opinion, I think that everyone could benefit from having one all men's or all women
Yes.
like that because it is different.
Yep.
Yeah.
The guys are different in there. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
like we're not. You know, we all know the shit. I mean, and I got a question for them once we get done with you answering the question.
Okay. Because I do feel strongly about this, and here's why: is for the first, I went to detox, went to inpatient, went to outpatient. Everything I was at was all co-ed. My detox, everything was co-ed. The meetings that were brought into my facilities were co-ed. I heard about, and I'm new to all this. Like I'm learning as I go while I'm in these treatments and what have you. Like I heard about SNL, I heard about all these things. Like I gotta check this out, check that out. Like I got into recovery and I started going to meetings with there was no standards. I went to whatever, never seeked out a men's meeting, nothing. And then about a year and a half into it, some of the guys at another Alano club were like, "You got to check out this Thursday night meeting." They didn't push me; they just kept talking about it. And a couple guys that I really respect in the program. And you can just see after 1 month of going to the same meeting, you can see the guys that are the girls or guys
Right.
shining. Like you can see. And I went to an all men's meeting like a year and a half into my recovery, and that changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, me being the little immature boy that I was, I walk in there and they're saying words that we just don't say at girls' meetings, and they're doing these things that I'm only catching that aspect right away. But the recovery that was in that room, and when they started we started getting into the book, like I benefited. It was night and day, and I didn't miss that Thursday meeting for a full year until COVID
Right.
came. I didn't miss that meeting, and like
It does something different for you.
I don't know what it was. Like it was I was the first time I was able to open up in front of a group of guys, and it was the first time I was able to tell another man like I'm hurting.
Yeah.
Like looking at another grown adult, another grown man saying, "Hey, I'm hurting, bro. Like,
And-
I don't know what to do." Like,
And you don't get it till you experience either.
exactly. And I wouldn't have done that at any of the next meetings.
I sat here with Tim, not on this show, but I sat here with you arguing this point. Hey, fuck you. I can be more helpful to everyone. This and that. I don't limit I had all this stuff because I hadn't experienced it.
Right. And you don't know. We can't be faulted for something we don't
Yeah.
know yet. But
And then he
gotta
hit
be
me
willing
with,
to grow.
dude, how do you know if you didn't try it? I'm like,
Gotta
well,
be willing to grow.
fuck you. I don't know. I'm gonna go try it. I'm extra sweary today.
Yeah,
Full
you
circle
are.
from the topic,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yes.
Full
Recovery-
circle to
it's-
the topic.
Recovery is just so personal. I mean, what
Yes.
works for people, I would never tell somebody, this is the way you have to do it. You got to try
But-
everything until you find out
Right.
what works
Right.
for you.
Well-
If you're really thirsty for recovery, you will
And-
find it.
Sometimes I forget personally when people tell me stuff. I get a certain way or whatever, and
Yeah.
I forget that part of my recovery, how I grow, and my recovery
It's
is
taking
trying.
suggestions.
Taking suggestions and trying new stuff.
Right.
Some of the
100%.
best things are me trying new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I'm going to segue into this other question because we're talking to two ladies, wonderful women in recovery.
Yay. We're outnumbered tonight.
Yeah. So, hey, before we get into some questions, I just want to say thank you to Elena, who's wearing 79 hats. She's back there being our producer. She's doing the computer.
Sending questions in.
Sending questions in. She helped set up the show. She's making sure me and Tim don't get out of hand.
Yeah, she's got the whooping stick. She got a switch back there. She said, "I dare you."
Oh, let's do Amber's question first,
Okay.
and then I'll get into theirs. Amber
Shout
says,
out Amber, Missy.
"Hey, aside from going to meetings, what is a healthy outlet you have?"
Good question.
Oh my
Amber.
Running.
Running.
Like just like miles upon miles. Are you one of those? You can just.
I love.
Do you get the
running.
runner's high?
I've been running all winter, just
Really?
running.
Do you get a runner's high?
Yeah.
Like after like 5 miles or
I
what?
can like sort through some serious life issues running.
Our
or
sponsor
I
does,
listen
too.
to sermons when I run. Running
Yeah.
or exercises.
Nice.
And I know Victoria.
Yeah, that's
you relate.
something we have in common. I cannot overstate the value of exercise in my recovery. Like, I tell you what, man, when I was super depressed and coming off my relapse, I got outside and I started walking, and that walking turned into running. Even if I was crying, I was, bawling on the greenway, but I was still moving my body. I swear I can feel like my neurons
Shout out Greenway.
reconnecting. I can
Yeah.
feel my brain healing from my drug abuse while I'm running. And there's actually like scientific evidence to back that. It's just
I used to walk
Beautiful.
like 2 to 4 hours a day. Walk/run. I don't anymore. But Tim drives me everywhere. That's
Not
not true.
as of right now, but
nice.
But yeah, I don't know. There's something like you guys talked about. You sort through your problems.
our sponsor does the same thing. He gets down to Calhoun.
They've been
and
getting
just
on me
runs.
about it.
Yeah, in my addiction, I was downing Xanax every single day just to feel sane, and
Right.
and I thought that would continue. I thought it would take a while for that to stop when I got sober, but anxiety all gone just from the power
From
of
the
exercise.
exercise?
Yep, I don't take anything anymore.
Really?
It's amazing.
Did you cold turkey on? Now this is. I want our audience
This is
to know
a
this
personal-
is her personal experience because there's some real major side effects I know of.
Yeah,
just
and
like
we're not
cold-
telling anyone how to
No,
recover
hell
or what you
no,
should do,
no.
and you should always listen to your doctor. We're not
Yes.
doctors. None
Let's
of us
look
are
at all
medical
the
professionals.
forewarnings. My question is, did you just choose to I'm done. I'm done taking Xanax.
No, I was terrified to do that. By the time I got into detox, I was taking like designer experimental benzos, and I was terrified to get off of them because I knew you could have seizures.
Yep.
When I went into detox, they gave me it was like a medically aided detox,
Okay.
and even then they were like, "Oh my God, we have to give you a lot of drugs for you to come off this safely."
Right.
It was scary.
But they
honestly.
detox handled it well for you, and that
Yeah.
seemed to transition you.
Right.
Yeah, it was easier than I thought it would be. I was only on a taper for like 2 weeks. Went to Fairview.
Riverside.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Good place.
Nice. So
LP? No, I'm joking.
No, for real.
I was there too.
love
So
it.
that's
to
right.
clarify, yes, Aaron, you do drive me a lot of places, but it's not just one person that drives.
Oh, is Erin down here trying to take credit?
He said, or I drive Tad everywhere.
Aaron, you can have them. No, I'm
Oh,
joking.
wow. Did you just give the best friend hat to Aaron?
I'm whispering like someone can't tell.
Oh,
No,
oh.
Elena grabbed the switch. Elena grabbed the switch like, no. I wanted to know but people's personal experiences with that because my own personal experience with it. And
Are we ready for shit to get real?
I'm been waiting, dog.
Okay.
Oh,
So, being as how I'll go back to kissing up to you guys before I ask this question. Being as how we have two mature,
scared now.
lovely, appropriate women, I want to ask something that this might be a little, whatever. So it's kind of untold. There's a reason why there's not a lot of girls. They're outnumbered in the rooms because there is appropriate behavior, and people hit on girls a lot at meetings. What are some way? Because and people might die because they don't get a meeting because they're being inappropriate. What are some ways that women out there listening right now can appropriately set boundaries and stand up for themselves? Because we come into and we don't know because we come into the room broken and hurt, so that woman who walks into a meeting and this is her only meeting, and if she leaves she's gonna die, that she can stay and feel safe. What are some ways?
Well, I think
Without
this
saying
one
going
pierces
through it
me
all
because
women,
this
maybe.
is what
I mean, and I'm being serious. I know I sound like an
Yeah.
ass saying that, but for someone who doesn't know that that's even an option to go to
Yeah.
an all women's meeting,
Well,
like
I'm telling you right now, that's an option.
Thank
There's
you.
all
Yeah.
women's meetings, and if that's the only safe place you can go, you go. Another one is, you can avoid eye contact with men if that's what you need to do. If you don't trust them or trust yourself, it's absolutely okay. Sit by women, talk to a woman. If you don't know any, when you go into a meeting, look for an open seat next to a woman.
Right.
No,
And
that's
at the
great
end of the
advice.
Day, at the end of the day, you do not owe anybody anything. You just have to be there, and you can just say, you know what? I don't really want to talk. I'm just here for the meeting. Like, it's okay.
that's perfect.
I
Thank
feel
you.
like I've seen you say that to someone before.
Well, No, maybe.
I can just hear you saying
Yes,
that.
me
to
too.
someone on my
I
head.
see what you're saying, Tad. I'm being serious when I talk about, you come in, you show up, you look professional, but I also do get that off you. Like, you're not gonna put up with someone's shit. You're there for your recovery. Bottom line.
Well, I know all too well, and I've seen it in so many people's lives. Like, relationships are such. They can bring you down so quickly.
Yeah.
They can bring you down. And I've seen so many women have so much going for them, about to get their kids back, and they have this guy who just, I don't know, they just won't let go, and it just destroys them.
Yeah.
And I myself have been in relationships where it just destroyed me, you know? And I finally got to a point where I'm independent, and I'm not willing to lose anything for a poor choice in a relationship.
It's not worth it.
And just to clarify, in case you get men or other people get angry, it could be a girl too. But
Yes, it goes both ways. We're just talking to
we're
women.
talking to women. So please, no one
before
get offended.
we get your answer on that, being that you brought that up about the relationship things, like, I want to ask you, like, your thoughts on that. Like, they were on the show, we talked about the 13th stepping and all this and that, like, and I've shared really adamantly about just firsthand experience, seeing the majority of what I see when it comes to people's, not just strictly relapses, but issues in their recovery, tend to revolve around relationships. Like, I usually see a person's not downfall. I don't want to just point at a relationship, but I want to say the majority of what I've personally seen with arguments, with friendships being lost, with the biggest drama in recovery, it seems to revolve around someone's relationship or a relationship that occurred in recovery, and usually in earlier recovery. Like, is that something that you've noticed with, like, sponsoring women or yourself, or, you know?
Yeah. And, yes, I have. And I've also seen success stories, but
Right.
those situations, both people are working their recovery program actively. It's
Individual programs.
individual programs.
Right.
It's not
It's not an attraction-based thing, although that's there,
It's not like Tad and Erin date and then we share a program.
No.
Most of the time when I've seen people that are successful, they go to their separate. They
Yeah.
might go to a meeting together,
But they have their own
they
recovery.
They have their own meetings. They do their own things, and
that comes with your recovery's got to come first, and it's got to be your recovery.
At the end of the day, you have to feel good about yourself before you can include anybody else.
Right.
And that's not always an easy thing for you to identify. You don't, like, I think
Well-
about me in early recovery. I didn't even know that I felt good. I was
Right.
I was happy. I wasn't high. I felt good. I was on the pink cloud. But if I were to include somebody else into that, I can't tell you that I would even know how to protect myself. And so I guess I was just lucky that I only went to women's meetings.
what I can say from that aspect is, so I hopped into a relationship with the first girl I met at treatment, basically, and we were together for about 2 years, and we've been broken up for like 5 or 6 weeks now, whatever it's been, and I always used to joke and just say, because it sounded good, because everyone said this, that yep, we have a great health, and it was the healthiest relationship I've ever had in my life, and we amicably broke up, yep, all that stuff, and I used to joke and say that it would have been easier. But so now there's the great thing has been that I know who I am a little bit, and I have stuff. The relationship didn't define me, because I
Right.
have all this stuff that I do that. But it's been hard not to lean on that stuff to redefine me, because there are certain parts, like we talked every night for an hour or two. That's a big. So now I'm sitting by myself for an hour or two at night, and whether it's listening to a podcast or whatever, playing with my kid, whatever I do. And so at first that was a very lonely void. The first week I just went to bed, right to bed, instead of I was a late night guy. I went right to bed at 9. And but so, like, there are certain parts of me that I don't know, because they were, well, I was growing in my recovery. I was in a relationship, so it's attached with her now. So there's certain recovery stuff. And so I can say that would be the opposite side of that. And luckily for me, I didn't relapse like I would have in the past, because I did build my own individual
Well, yeah,
recovery.
You left the relationship and it was healthy, and it surprised the shit out of yourself. Remember?
Yeah.
You just shared about it. Like, wow, we didn't throw chairs, we didn't break windows.
No
we didn't
Dankos.
drink. Yeah, like as
I got a text thanking me
There you
for
go.
showing her what a healthy relationship and what a gentleman is and what a good
Right.
man can be. I've never got that fucking text
Like
in my
you
life.
grew through your relationship to a point of it ended in a way that was like how we adults are supposed to, kind of a deal.
Yeah, well, I was just, I called some people and was like, is that how normal relationships?
Well, and
is
that-
that
and
how
that-
normal people break up?
That's the key thing that you said right there is you
called
called
some
some people.
people.
You had people on your corner, and I think
Right.
like that's the one thing we need.
Because they don't show
not
that
all-
in movies.
well,
They don't
not
show
all-
that ever. And
Not all relationships work, and as we're still growing, we're all still going to be flawed, and we know we're going to make mistakes, and we probably aren't going to be the best person to be in a relationship with at times. But when you have people in your corner, it helps keep. They can give you insight, they can give you feedback, and they're there for you when things fall apart.
Right.
Let's flip to Victoria. I just did want to say one thing about that.
I was going to ask her the same question. you
Yeah.
asked her,
What was
Erin.
how? Can you ask the question that I asked quick because
Yeah.
I had something to add on it, but I can't think how to
I was
say
gonna say,
it.
go ahead. But basically, like he was saying, asking her about going to a meeting, and I'm not. I usually see you
Appropriate
guys
boundaries with
together
guys.
in meetings. Like when I've seen you, you're with her, or at the front desk. Like when you're coming into the rooms of recovery, whether it be this fellowship or that fellowship. I guess what I was gonna add to it was. Have you experienced that as well as what do you do?
What are some things
like
to
what
do?
have you done personally to avoid those situations?
I would say usually too. This is what I wanted to add on top of that. You can speak to the trusted servants. Usually.
right. Yeah.
And if they don't announce
Oh, we have a
it,
code of conduct at
Yeah,
2218,
yep.
and they stand by it, and they take it very.
I
Tad
take that
test. He
shit
takes
super
it.
seriously.
His
and
new
that,
hat. We'll talk about
I've
that.
always taken it seriously. Since last September, since I was informed on it, I didn't
Right.
know.
But
I
now
didn't-
you're on the board, and you are the.
When I first got into squad council, I talked to a lady about it, and she came to me and told me why she didn't go to mixed meetings. And and my suggestion, and I didn't know, the first thing is, can't you go with just get a bunch of girls from
Right.
your sober house? And she said, that's making it worse. Then they think we're out to pick up men.
Right.
And I didn't know that, and I was like, oh,
Just
well, that's-
uninformed though. Like
I was like, oh, well, that we need to do something about. I didn't know, and like my sister, one thing, and then I'm going to turn it over to Victoria. My sister, I always hear her say, very loudly, "I'm not here for a fucking relationship," and that's her way. Is she barks it,
Yeah.
and when she doesn't bark it,
yeah, she deals with it.
She
ends
deals
up
with
dealing with it. Like we had to adjust some things with phone lists over situations, not just her, but
like if she
it
ever
happens.
yeah,
It happens.
and I know I can share this because. So when she is in some positions where she does have to give her number out for court cards or whatever, she puts my number down.
Right.
And I have gotten calls from guys thinking they were going to hit on my sister.
Right. It's unfortunate too. Like I have a new thing. Like if I'm at the meeting and I know you've both been there and you heard me talk about the phone list, like this is for recovery. I hate having to say, but guys, you call guys, girls, you call girls. We use this to save our lives. Like sometimes
I always say
maybe
it's not
I didn't
plenty of
know
fish,
that. Yeah.
guys.
Like I don't know. Maybe sometimes you just it has to be said, or certain people you just have to hear it.
Right.
Because some just don't know. Like the stigma gets to a point of others talking about, like, you get a group of guys that keep coming and they're not there for just recovery. And then they're thinking, okay, we can go here and pick up some. It's like, it's unfortunate it happens, but it's life and it's going to happen. Things happen.
And I just want to say it doesn't mean that anyone is, because I've had people tell me things, bash people for that. And like,
Right.
look, man, we're humans. We're
Yeah.
learning. And when we come in to recovery, we don't know how to live. So we're going to
Right.
do what we do. And so my whole thing is, we're here above, we're about
Right.
the positive, or well, how do you say that?
Well,
You-
my
you-
head's on
our show, like our mantra, me and you, we're about the positive. We're not about the negative
like stay
stuff.
in the solution. Like let's
And
look at the similarities, not
so-
the differences.
And like we've discovered in a lot of we've gone through this in our personal stuff, because Tim and I don't know everything, no matter what we tell
No.
you. No matter what we collectively tell you or individually tell you, we really don't. It's learning from other people.
Yeah.
And I would just add on that's part of, like all my mentors were male, and maybe I would have got, some of those guys had to teach me how to live or teach me how to be appropriate.
Yes.
So I knew.
Well, we learn relationally,
Yes, that's
Right.
that's a good way to put it.
I knew how to be appropriate to you two ladies to get what I wanted and appear appropriate, but I
Prior
didn't know how
to,
to
yeah.
genuinely
Right.
be a good person. And I had to learn that by being taught by other men, And it's no one's fault. It's just life. And maybe there were men that were trying to teach me in my life growing up, but I was too busy being a drug addict.
Yeah, and you know what? On that same thing, before we keep telling you, and then you, Victoria.
Sorry, Victoria.
So,
Me first.
yeah.
so listen, on that same note, like that, I talked about anonymity earlier, like people feeling safe at meetings. That came from me telling you that came from a situation at the meeting, one of the meetings we go to, one of the fellowships. This person shared in the meeting an issue they're had, comfortably sharing with the collective group, like, I'm dealing with X, Y, and Z. Well, somewhat of a newcomer grabbed a phone list, called this other person who's sharing to check up on him. Like, he meant well. His intentions were good. His intentions were to call and say, I know, hey, you shared about whatever you shared about, and I just want to make sure, you're doing this and that to, his intentions were good, but I don't know, it's not my place to tell people how to react to someone, but the person sharing didn't say, would you guys please call and check up on me? So this person that got the phone calls from this newcomer, they felt violated, like, their anonymity was broke. Like, I shared this in a meeting. Like, I wanted to feel safe sharing this. And then someone that they don't know called out of the blue and was in their business. But so, like, seeing both sides of it, because I talked to both parties, like, he thought he was just helping. Like, it genuinely was coming from a safe place. But this other person was scared. Like, calling me about something I shared about and
And they were opposite gender.
yes, total, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But it was like, it's kind of been tearing me apart to think of both sides. Like, I kind of feel for him. He doesn't know. He's a newcomer. He thinks he's helping. Like, he just wants to be part of things, and he wanted to help. But I explained, like your intentions, yes, were good. But then I explained with anonymity, like, that stays in the meeting. If she came to you personally and said, hey, could you call and check up on me, then that's a different story.
It's interesting because I think that if that were to happen in an all males meeting or an all women's meeting,
Yes, it'd have been fine.
It would play out differently.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And just real quickly on the relationship piece, I think that more problematic or dangerous is staying in relationships from your past.
Oh, yes.
It's not necessary. I mean, we learn, getting in a relationship with someone in recovery, it's new or whatever, you learn, you figure it out.
Yeah.
As long as you have your own support, I think things work themselves out. But staying connected to those old relationships is the dangerous,
One's growing,
most dangerous.
yes,
You can't break free from those toxic patterns,
You're a
no matter
different
how much
person.
time is
Yes.
passed.
You're growing into a different person.
Yeah, you were a different person back then, and you wanted different things. You were interested in different interests. It just,
Like, there's a
if you
whole-
need to
yeah.
go forward as a person, you need to let that go.
Well, and there's a whole section in one of the books, one of the fellowship books, it's like, to the wives. Like,
Yeah.
that whole thing talks about, like, you're going to change this asshole you were. I'm saying this wrong, but, like, some of these old timers really broke that chapter down to me. And it's like, you're changing, to become hopefully back to who your significant other married, or there's all sorts of facets to that, but, like, there's a whole chapter in one of these recovery books dedicated to that. And it's like and I think that situation's a little different from like 90 years ago to it is now. It totally is. Just the whole stigma of, like, what women did versus what men did. And there's a big, and I think this wasn't a good example to bring up.
Well, I think in that chapter, I think it's from the AA book, and it's talking about the wives who want their husbands to come back home, and
Yes.
they're busy investing in their recovery program and offering their service and support to all these other people, and they're getting resentful, like, I've been sitting here dealing
Yeah.
with your drunk ass
Right.
for this many
Right.
years.
We're gonna hang out,
And
or
here
what?
you are,
Right.
serving everybody else.
Yeah. And then
But that's like what he needs to do. That's what he needs to do to grow.
Right.
You know?
That's what he needs to stay sober.
And then you can't expect, like, the wife and it was explained to me, it's like, so he's like, you can't expect she doesn't owe you anything just because you decided to change.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big thing that was being explained to someone who came into recovery that's trying to fix his marriage and everything. Like, look, okay, but you still did all these things. Like, she doesn't owe you anything.
Yeah.
Like, you have to get this through your head. You might be bettering yourself, and hopefully you're doing that for yourself. A lot of people get that kind of twisted. So you know what? Let's go ahead and ask you the same question we tried to ask like 3 times now.
Oh my God!
What do you do about that? Like, going into a meeting, and I don't know if you've dealt with it, but like that whole aspect, how do you handle that?
This is going to be such a letdown because I'm not going to say anything that profound. But
Everyone has a voice, and everyone's voice matters.
I mean, I get that it's hard because for a lot of people, meetings are their only real social life, especially now with COVID. People want to get out and socialize, but I don't know. Here at 2218, I haven't really had a lot of negative experiences. I think the community is pretty respectful. I just think, you got to just shut that shit down, like, right away. I just say, I'm not here for that. Just not here for that.
Right.
And just to, people of all genders, when people give you the vibe that they're not interested, believe them. Believe them, because it's not, don't
go try to confirm it a few times.
Yeah, don't chance that they're playing hard to get, because you're messing with someone's livelihood. You're messing with someone's,
I'm
recovery
laughing, but
here.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's not a good game to play. Like,
right.
You might make somebody uncomfortable going to a meeting, and that's the last thing that we'd want.
So on the flip side of that, have you, in your recovery with having a sponsor, have you had to ask her about, like, hey, I find so and so interesting, or have you brought? And that's, you might, if you don't want to share it, that's okay. Like,
No.
have you?
Not really. I mean,
And not me. I'm talking about anyone else.
Yeah, we won't talk about you. No, I made a lot of mistakes. I made all the mistakes in early recovery. Everyone told me, don't date people in your group. Don't meet someone in inpatient. And I was like, they're like, this is a terrible idea. And I was like, great, let's find out. Let's find out for real, though.
You were different, Victoria.
Right.
You were different.
Like, it's not enough to tell me something is a
Right.
bad idea and give me all the examples of why. Like, I need to find out myself.
Like we always need to find out ourselves.
We do, yeah. It's just, you got to confirm. But no, I find it really easy to come back from because, thanks to the relationships I made in inpatient, when those relationships started getting toxic, it was kind of like one strike and you're out. Like, I have too many good people in my life to stay in a situation where I'm unhappy and where I might be risking my sobriety. Like, it wasn't hard to get out of. I figured it out.
Right.
So to clarify, because are you sure they weren't playing hard to get?
No, but and you know what? We can laugh about that because we're at a point in our recovery, but that is not a joking
No,
matter.
yeah.
Like, totally
Believe
listen-
them.
Yes.
I like that. I wish you would say that.
That's
like
something we
13
don't
more
play
times.
with at all. I would agree with you. Like, that's, unfortunately, I had to learn a lot of things on my own, even though I had people telling me different. I don't know if that just comes with early recovery, but
Right.
like, no, I need to get burnt by touching the stove because I need to find out if this is really hot.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and so this is something I don't even know how to say it. So that being outside of relationships with girls now, and then like my sister, who's my sister, and then having best female friends like Elena here, and having relationships that aren't like, I'm not trying to get in Erin's pants. I'm not trying to get in Victoria's pants. We're friends. Having that and now growing relationships with women and having appropriate, normal, healthy relationships, which I've never had before, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
It's having these women friends of mine has been different and rewarding, more rewarding than if I had been sleeping with all of them, because that's empty and it wrecks the actual relationship, and it's actually been better.
Right.
Yeah.
That might sound like a lie, but I'm being serious.
Right.
Like, and I've learned things about myself, and I get different things that I wouldn't get from Tim.
No.
Because, you know what? Tim and I do talk about real stuff a lot, but we also are boys, and we do boy stuff, and
Right.
we horse around, and we say dumb boy stuff, and we get off track, and the squirrel, and next thing you know, we're going from talking about some profound spiritual shit to farts.
Right. And I mean, maybe there's women that do. I know there's some that still do that are like that as well. But like, I've gotten I've gotten feedback from women that I couldn't have got from men, definitely. But I don't think one of Amber said that about, like, if we turn that topic to unisex, like, a lot of this is both ways.
Well, and I wouldn't have been ready for these relationships.
No. No.
Till now.
I'm
For real.
I'm 3 years in and I'm scared of a relationship. I will not do it. Like,
Well, no, I'm not talking.
just
No,
because of
these
what I'm seeing.
relationships with women, these healthy relationships. But what I've found now is like, there are certain things I'm not going to go here ask a girl for.
Oh,
I'm going to call
yes,
you,
of
yeah,
course,
because
yeah.
they're men stuff. But some of the advice that I've got when I started, it was Elena actually. When I started asking advice of a girl,
Yeah, you
because
reached out to her
guys,
a lot about stuff.
the guys were just like, oh, fuck it, fuck her in the butt and stuff like no, really, that's what I was getting from my guy friends. And I'm like, dude, I'm being serious. Like, I need help. And it wasn't, oh, well, just ditch her and get with 5 other
Right,
girls.
they're gonna give you some empty,
Dude, I'm trying to be serious here. I'm not trying to be a macho and no one was giving me what I needed to hear. And like, you weren't doing that, but you were like, I don't know. I'm not in a relationship. I don't have the answers. I wish I did. So I turned to Elena and was like, this is what it is. This is and then we started hanging out and she'd be like, what's going on with that? And she'd be like, well, my opinion. It's just my opinion though, but and it changed. And it wasn't like she was telling me what to do. She was just telling and having both opinions at times, it's changed my life. And at a point where I became a little narrow-minded with certain things I did in the community, and just having Elena give me some advice that changed my life. And, it was stick with the relationship, but help yourself, basically, in a dumbed down version of hours and hours of conversation. But, it opened my eyes to that I had become only asking certain types of people for advice. And in my recovery with the hats I wear and the things I'm trying to do, I can't do that. I have to ask because we all have a voice and it's all valid. And I don't know everything. In my small circle, we're not everybody. So I'm not able to help women and different people if I'm just getting advice from my 4 guy friends that are just like me.
Right. You can't expect to.
And
I couldn't. I wouldn't have been able to expect to get some real type of advice from you about certain situations that just basically you can't experience.
right. And that was like, and I kept trying to beat a dead stone with Tim on this. Like, dude, give me my
Right.
You got something to say about everything, Tim. Give me some frickin'. And he's like, dude, I don't have the answers. I'm like, Tim, that's not real. You have something to say about it. Why
I can
don't?
tell you about relationship stuff from 20 years of use.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Like, from 16 to like 30 something, I was in a relationship constantly. And like, I thought I was happy, but I manipulated and cheated and da. And I'm in recovery now and I'm scared. Like,
Right.
I am too scared to even think about a girl.
Same here.
Like, I'm too scared. And then I keep seeing like from our sponsor to everyone in recovery
oh my
around
God.
me that is dealt with relationships. It's very disheartening. Like, I don't want a reason to go back out. I don't want to get in a situation that's going to have me thinking about going back out. Like, my fear is going back out.
You know what scares me? The fact that we broke up healthily in this current relationship. So now there's a little voice in me that says, you can date anybody. You can do
it.
whatever
You
you
can do
want.
it.
You don't have to do.
Yeah.
I don't have to do the healthy boundary thing. I don't have to do any of that. I can just go do whatever the fuck I
You
want.
can handle it. And if it goes bad, you can break up just fine.
Yeah. And I won't relapse. I got this.
Yeah.
Whatever I want to do, and I know better because whenever I behave that way, shit goes fucking bad.
Healthy
Monster.
boundary thing. Like, what is that anyway? Like,
Strong men in recovery need to lead by example and call shitty men on their behaviors.
Yeah.
Also goes both ways. We go back. Oh, this is I open it up.
Yeah.
We go back into the topic of safety as someone who has been preyed on in a meeting or fellowship. Thank goodness I can be very assertive. Other men might not be. That shit sucks. It's not okay.
It's true.
You're right, Amber.
And so I've talked to a lot of ladies about this, and like, because they just assume that all guys, not all, but a lot of people assume that all guys are like that. I had this conversation with a couple friends, and I was like, well, I'm not. No. My friends aren't like that either.
Right.
Like, you know what?
I don't surround myself with
No,
that type of
and
shit.
that's what I
Like,
told her. I said, if I have a friend who starts having gross, inappropriate behavior,
yeah.
I'm going to talk to him about it, and I'm not going to be friends with them because I don't want to be associated with that. You
Or
and I,
maybe as a friend, they just need someone to check them.
But-
Like Rob will be the first to tell you, our sponsor, like he'll be quick to say like I loved him because he just speaks what's on his mind. Like he'll say some inappropriate shit at inappropriate times, but. There's been times where people have to like reel me in and be like, Tim, that's not okay.
you got a mic,
and I
Elena?
think I'm just being funny. Turn it on and share.
turn it
on
on.
this.
So like Elena's pretty good at this. So Elena, you can inappropriately joke.
Yeah, she
With
can
the best of them,
best
she can be a
us.
dirtier person than Tim or I.
Oh yes.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, but Elena also knows when there is a time and place.
Oh yes.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
can you speak on that a little bit, being a woman in recovery? Because you're kind of like one of the guys, but
So I'm kind of different. I'm not inappropriate with just men. I'm inappropriate with women.
With
I
everybody.
discriminate. It's
Yeah.
with everyone. So I'm not going to.
You're good.
I'm not going to be inappropriate with just one person and single people out so that way they think that I'm only talking to that person. I just do it with everybody. But that's my personality.
Yeah.
That's who I am. I'm not going to do it if I go to a certain meeting. I'm not going to do it if there's an old timer and I need to be respectful.
Or
I go to bowling. I do
or
things
a
like
time
that.
and place.
I'm a different person.
So like I've had this. Me and Elena have been joking around before and been with a group of friends, and then we go into a place where we're not supposed to, and I don't turn it off. And all of a sudden, she's all professional. And she's like, "Dad, you got to be appropriate." I'm like,
Absolutely.
I'm like, "What the?" But,
Absolutely.
and it's because I have a hard time shifting gears. I do. That's
Yeah.
one of my defects.
Yeah.
Is
Well, and then it goes back to the 10th step. We're all going to say and do dumb stuff. And hey, look, I was out of line.
you
Period.
too?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, well, all the time, all the time.
Yeah,
all
and
the
we
time.
don't. But we don't have to be scared that that defines who we are anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to make mistakes like that and just go home and beat myself up about it. Like, I hate my personality. I mean, it doesn't have to define us.
Right. Did you guys look at the time?
What time is it? Is time flying?
10:30.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
What
Can you
happens
believe
at
that?
10:30?
The
You guys are
elves
about to
come
turn into
out.
pumpkins.
All the elves
Yes.
they come out of the ceiling at 10:31. Hurry
Thought it
up.
was dance party time.
Oh no, that's rap battle. Matter of fact, let's talk about some things that are happening.
Okay.
Like we got the Ride for Recovery coming up, which if anyone wants to be part of, you're welcome. And it's an all-day event.
What would some options be if you wanted to be a part of that? Like, what does that look like?
There is helping with the silent auction. There is helping selling merchandise. There is helping.
Setup, cleanup, breakdown, like helping
And so
guys just
it's not just a motorcycle ride.
Right.
Should I go through the
Yeah,
day quick?
do it, definitely.
So we're gonna meet at St. Paul Harley at like 8:30. The kickstand's up at 10, and they're gonna leave for the ride. So during that time, people are gonna be coming and registering. There's a pancake breakfast. I have many of friends who did not ride a motorcycle, just came for the pancake breakfast, socialized, all that. And then we'll send them on their way. Whoever's there helping at the beginning, they will help tear down and drive all the stuff back here to 2218. They will do their motorcycle ride and not get back till between 2 and 4. And but this year we're not gonna wait for them to get started. We're starting at 1:30 here at the club, and it's essentially a block party.
yes.
There's music. There's a silent auction. There's a big dinner, and it's fun. So and about 2-3 o'clock. Times are all subject to change, by the way. So don't think that anything I'm talking about is in stone. And I could be wrong too, because yeah.
Well, you know what? No, go ahead. Sorry.
And then we go to about 10 o'clock at night, and there'll be music. Like I said, there'll be a speaker. I forgot to say that. I do not know who the speaker is. I don't know if we have him lined up, but we could. I should get my ducks in a row. But
Are there bands playing?
What you got?
yes, Zoo Factor is playing for sure. And I can imagine that there's some opening bands from local artists here, and I don't know all the people. We haven't had the flower. We just had one meeting thus far.
So my question is, if somebody wanted to be involved but they couldn't commit the whole day, are there opportunities for that?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. You could come volunteer for a couple hours. So when you come here, you know the volunteer forms. You've seen them, the new fancy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fill those out, and then you'll get it, and you put Ride for Recovery, or you talk to me, and I'll give you. We have a lovely lady, the volunteer person. She's newly elected as secretary of the board too, and she will hook you up. and she's one of the things that she's done with the volunteers is she does this form so she can just pass to everything because it was all kind of done by like I'll grab you and by this old school way, and now we have a system.
Yes.
So she can just be like, oh, Erin is good at merchandising. We're gonna give her to this person, and
Here, you know what? I'll give a quick. I'll just read the details of it real quick. It's the third annual 2218 Ride for Recovery. It's
Yep.
celebrating a recovery in the world's longest continuous running Alano Club, 2218. Funds raised are vital to keep the doors open, lights and the hope for alive for addicts, alcoholics, and families and friends. Open every day. All right, that's it. All right, we're very grateful that this year the Ride for Recovery will start. Like he was saying, with the Pancake Breakfast for $5 at St. Paul Harley Davidson, that's $28.99. You know what? You can reach out to us. We'll get you that. We have flyers too. Wristbands will be on sale soon for $20 in advance, and will likely sell out like we do every year.
Yeah.
The day of the event, admission will be $25.
Tim and myself are gonna have wristbands.
Yes.
Tim
So
might
anyone-
not have known he was gonna have
Yeah,
wristbands,
but
but
you
he's
know
selling
what?
them for me. So
The event includes dinner, lots of great live music, entertainment, a speaker, a medallion meeting.
it's a freaking blast.
Yes, and silent auction and raffles. And the silent auction stuff they have, it's like I know.
There's gonna be nothing but new stuff this year.
Oh, so I can't even talk on it because like
Last year there was some used stuff, and we're doing nothing but new stuff.
Okay.
There'll be gift cards. There'll be
Right.
Dude, it is.
I know
it's
there
a
was some
deal.
badass like homemade like rings. The first year I bought some really fresh
Well,
rings. And,
there
like,
might be some stuff
that
like
homemade
that, but
jewelry
there's going to
from-
be no
yes.
like secondhand power tools. None of that stuff.
Well, I know, like I bought. Matter of fact, I bought not a hand-me-down, but I bought some bags for my bike, my Harley. I bought some the first year, and they're like I got them for like $40, and they're like $300 bags.
Oh.
So I was kind of looking forward to maybe because what they are is donations, like some of those things. But yeah,
Yeah, and if you
you're right.
have any, also I would just say if you have any things to donate for the silent auctions or businesses that you're in touch with and you want to, you can always get a hold of me and
or Cheryl Larson, Emily Mendoza, or
or
Mary
the
Jo.
Alano Club website.
Yes. Oh yeah. The yes.
Yeah, just email the Alano or get a hold of the Alano Club, and those are the people. Because when you get a hold of me, I'm gonna put you in touch with someone else.
Right.
So.
So yeah, it's right. And all this information I just like spewed out there. It's all right from the third annual 2218 Ride for Recovery.
I know. I
page.
was gonna read what Amber had wrote it because we're gonna talk about
Wrote it?
Wrote.
All right. Well, hey, make sure you guys keep on roading in, okay? Ted says road in. Oh, I got to bust balls. God, thank Andrea and you know what, Shauna, everyone who's thank you guys. This interactive show is coming through. Ron, you know what? And like time flies when we're killing it and giving out
Yeah,
information. Did you want to?
Can you scroll back to Amber's comment about the rap battle because we were gonna talk about
Oh
that.
yes. All right, here you go. Amber rap battle, Dance of July, 24th from 9 p.m. to midnight. We need your talent as entertainment. Get in touch with Josh Ballard, Tad, or myself. That's Amber Johnson. She's on here right now. They're gonna be up there rapping.
You can read the guy's name. We're not rapping.
You're not gonna enter, dude. You've been talking so much smack.
I never talk smack. I'm a retired rapper, first of all. I said that there was one name that I would get into rap out.
I know.
And you know
One
that
of our
person
biggest
because he don't want
cheerleaders.
no smoke.
Whoa.
Hey, those are his words, not
Hold
mine.
on.
Those
You
are
know
his
who
words.
he's talking about? Hold on.
So if one of our number one fan calls me out, I will enter the rap battle.
Get him. Get him.
Because he don't want no smoke.
Oh,
but
Noah. Gotta get him, Noah.
you just said his name.
Get him.
But so
it's-
yeah,
it's past
it's gonna be
bedtime,
fun
he's out.
at 9 o'clock on that Saturday. We're gonna try and work in some things. Eric has some ideas like studio time for that.
right.
Dance off. We do need more people to be on the committee. It's not. You know what? Josh and I know how to form a rap battle. We got Amber. I don't know if someone else said they might be able to, but any dancers or people who have experience with dance competitions, it's welcomed. We might have to break it up because 3 hours might not be enough.
Right.
We're not even sure. We're gonna.
That just might be the semifinals.
Our first meeting, we were just told we could start promoting it. Our first meeting is going to be, we don't know the details if it would be
Right.
inside, outside, because there's a big
right.
difference, and we got to deal
And
with all that
we always
stuff.
are really, really.
You're rapping,
COVID,
right, Tim?
Really COVID conscious.
You're entering, right?
conscious. Dude, of course I'm rapping.
This is going to be great.
Of course I am.
If Timmy's rapping, then I'm gonna.
I'm not.
What? What?
Totally not, guys. But yeah, sure, Tad. I'm
Timmy
rapping. I'll
J.
be there.
Ti-
And
MC.
I'm going to be breakdancing. Like, ask Shauna. So, you know what? We did that. Gosh, now.
So,
you
you know,
mind farted me, dude.
I know I'm done because of our messing around. But so like it's gonna be a good time. If anyone wants to help, get a hold of me.
Yes.
This is we wanted to do it on Valentine's Day, but it didn't happen. So we're doing it the second. Oh, I know what I was gonna go to. So that
Oh
happened.
my gosh, look at the squirrel.
I had a thought to my madness, but I got to go to my schedule. So
I relate.
right. So that we do these events at 9 because there's always a speaker meeting.
Right.
And
Yes, on
you know
Saturdays.
that's the fourth and a 5 Saturdays. So the individuals who host that meeting.
Yes, it's
so
one of the newer fellowships.
I'm just gonna say there's gonna be I just booked our speaker for before the rap battle.
Damn, it's not me, I know.
Nope. And he was clowning. He's like, so I got to get him all hyped up and talk about my recovery and rap my whole story. He's not going to do that, but it was pretty funny.
That would be amazing.
Right? Someone just come up and rap their whole story for an hour. That's how Timmy's going to tell a story.
Yeah, that's how I do. I don't need a rap battle to rap my story.
Somebody's going to be so disappointed when they hear you. They're going to be like,
Oh boy, my rap is like,
Hey,
it's
I've heard
a
you rap.
A tortilla shell.
it's funny, though. It's like comedy rap.
Yeah, that's all I know. Joe?
Tortilla shell? It's flat.
No, tortilla shell, like that's wrapped around a burrito.
See,
you know what?
He's
I see what
punny.
you're
You know
doing
what?
there now.
Get on some running shoes and catch up, all right? Jesus.
Oh, my gosh. So,
So
Drop-
can I go back to a question that you asked me earlier?
Yes.
Can we go back to recovery?
Yeah.
yes, let's go back to.
So you asked me, what do I do when I'm feeling like unnerved or when life is getting at me and overwhelmed?
Yeah.
Can we go around? Can everyone share what they do when when life sucks, when you're struggling, when you feel empty, whatever the case may be?
Please, you start.
I already did. I already went. It's Tad.
Oh,
Oh, man.
look at her dropping these.
I know. She just rained the
We
show
found
in
her
on
new
us.
host.
Right. I reach out, but before I reach out, I try and figure shit out on my own, and it usually doesn't work out. So then I start reaching out to people, and I'll even do things like put people on the spot on the show to ask for advice when I'm struggling, like I am now. So, but I reach out because maybe they don't know the answer, but we'll get there together, and that's what I've discovered. If Tim, well, I'm just going to use Tim because if all 4 of us didn't know the answers and you guys knew I was struggling, you'd sit there till we figured it out or till
Yeah.
it was manageable.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how about you?
It's beautiful.
Oh man, I struggled so much with life when I first got into recovery. I think, I was diagnosed with ADD when I was younger. I took Adderall. Doing meth really did help me focus, and it helped me get a lot of things done. And it felt like I had power over my life when I was on it. And so when I stopped using, I also didn't know how to motivate myself. When you smoke your motivation every single day for years on end, like, I don't know how to do anything when I am sober. I don't want to. Like, I struggled with anhedonia. I was depressed. I got no pleasure from anything in life for, the first 6 months.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
What is anhedonia?
It literally just means you just don't want to do anything. Like, nothing in life gives you pleasure. It's something that people that use meth for a long time experience.
Isn't she great?
Yeah, I think I have anhedonia.
Yeah, I mean, I had it
Sometimes.
for, just not, so I didn't know how to organize myself. I didn't know how to pay attention to one task, and I didn't want to do anything.
Which is very common for former meth addicts.
Yeah, totally. And so I learned, gosh, I tried so many things. I read self-help books. I started seeing a therapist. I learned how to hyper-focus on tasks and how to really get through a task by mindfully focusing on it and getting into the process of doing something. And that took practice. And I was
You use
also
mindfulness
Yeah.
to clarify?
Yeah.
Do you want to give a quick dumbed down version of what that is for someone who doesn't
And
know?
I don't know if I can really. Okay, so it's just being really aware of where you are in the moment, like forgetting the past, forgetting the future, and just being really absorbed in the moment, what you're doing at the time.
Staying in the present.
Staying in the present, exactly. Just noticing yourself, and even if you're not enjoying it, notice that you're not enjoying what you're doing, and don't judge it. Don't get down on yourself about it. Yeah, that was really helpful to me. What else? I don't know. I still struggle with all kinds of
As we all do.
attention things. Yeah.
No one ever arrives and crosses the finish line and is perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a process. And I learned how to be patient with myself. I realized that just because I don't know how to do this today, I might know how to do it tomorrow.
And you might forget again.
Yeah, exactly.
That was great.
Like,
What you might not know today, you could find out tomorrow.
I mean,
Yeah.
one of the greatest things, well, I don't know if this is great, but one of the things I have to remind myself is that things that are my strengths today could become my struggles
Totally.
tomorrow. And just because I mastered this, or in my mind, I think I master things, I never really do. But I'm going to have those, I could have those issues again. We
Yeah.
never graduate said issues. Like,
Yeah.
I'm over anxiety and depression right now. Nope. I'm managing them and handling. Doesn't mean I'm never going to have anxiety and depression again.
Yeah, totally. I mean, people like that whole saying that they have where, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. Like, I actually don't like that much because I think that thinking that you're the only thing that influences the results of what you're doing is kind of crazy to me. Like, there's
Oh.
so many different factors that go into every situation in life. I think
That's-
it's important to just to really keep trying, and things are not the same tomorrow as they are today.
Right. Well, that is true. I've so when I've had in the past when I've had success at recovery, like when I say success, when I've had a little bit of time, and then I thought that I'd go back to the places I had a little bit of time and build on that, and it was never the same.
Yeah, you can't go home again.
Yeah, and I find that in every.
Well, like you said something, and I feel like, you know what, today's weakness could be tomorrow's like success.
Yeah.
Definitely. And the whole insanity
And vice
thing,
versa.
I've heard that shared about so many times that, what's insane is doing the same thing, hoping for a different result. My thing was this, like, I knew what the result would be and I'd still do it. I knew, like, I wasn't expecting a different result.
So many times I've been told I've been good at something and killing it like a rock star, to where I become closed-minded and I don't take input
Just shut
because
up.
what's working today isn't going to work tomorrow. So you guys all tell me I'm doing this stuff good, and then all of a sudden, like, you know what? I'm the fucking best at this. I know what I'm doing. I'm a fucking rock star, and I don't need to hear it, and it doesn't work anymore.
Bonded to self and ego
Yeah.
comes back into play.
Yeah.
And look, man, if tapping this water bottle is what's getting me through the day, that's great. But now I'm still doing this, and the water bottle's over there, so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I know that's a real dumb way to put it, but that's the best I could do it. Tim, we're getting to about that time. Would you like to cut a promo?
2218. I almost said here at 2218 again. 2218. We've been talking a lot about it. They have a lot to offer. They're the ones that are hosting this. They're the ones who didn't shut the doors when COVID hit. They're the ones who are saving lives, like, and bringing this to everyone. Like, they're the ones who gave us this option to spread this. new way of
Oldest
life.
continuous running L&O club that will soon be offering tours.
Yes, and we're gonna have a historical. Like, there's big things happening. I don't want to go down that rabbit
Yeah,
hole.
we'll have board members on here to
Yes.
talk about that in the
And
future.
we'll talk next week, but Tad is a new board member, and he holds a new position here as well. Congratulations, Tad. 2218, you know what? We have links on here. Come to the webpage. Give if you're able to. It helps. That's what keeps our lights on. Volunteers, please come. Please donate your time. We have a volunteer on the show right now.
Yeah, Victoria,
and she shared about how
can you speak on volunteering
Yeah.
and real quick again,
just
just
kind of
for
what
the
it's
people?
done for your recovery? Alone.
Yeah, I mean, it's really helped me to connect with people here at 2218. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. It's really helpful to center myself, and I don't know. It's really straightforward. Like
You
just,
always look like you're having
yeah,
freaking blast.
it's really fun. You just connect with people here, and
It's not like
you feel
work.
you're-
It's not like a ton of
absolutely
work.
not like work. No one's checking up on you to make sure you're doing a good
Well,
job.
and that's what I want people, like, when they volunteer, it's not like you're punching a clock. You're here helping, but having a good time. That's the thing. Like,
Yep.
most volunteer work means, oh, shit, I got to go take care of garbage and shovel.
Oh, we got
no.
some of that stuff too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm usually here for. But it's not like that, right? Like,
yeah.
you're here having a good time, connecting and making new connections and
Yeah.
helping people to, like, their first time of saving their life.
People always want to talk at the front desk and share stories, and it's always recovery related. It's always positive.
It's
Yeah,
awesome. That's from the mouth of someone who's doing it. You know?
Hey, so here on the Attitude for Gratitude, we like to tell everyone what we're grateful for. Elena, would you like to go first?
Please do. Turn that mic on and break it down, girl. Time went by quick.
That did go by quick. I'm always grateful for recovery. That is one thing I am always grateful for. But right now, I am grateful for this warm weather that is making my mood go to 100% instead of 75%.
Words.
Just the sunshine alone, driving to work in the morning, makes a whole different attitude for me. So I'm very grateful for just the changes that we get. Minnesota weather kind of sucks, and right now it's beautiful.
Yes. Thank you, Elena.
Erin, what are you grateful for today?
I'm so grateful that I can exist around my family and not feel like a piece of junk or feel like just the odd person out. That at the end of the day, my daughter knows that I love her and I show up for her no matter what I did in the past. And I'm really grateful for my sponsees because they carry me through my week.
Yes.
Awesome sauce. Thank you.
Victoria, what are you grateful for?
I'm just grateful for a lot of the relationships in my life right now. With my family, I mean, they're better than I thought they could ever be. Like, before I even started using, when I was a child, I didn't have such a good relationship with my family, you know? I mean, recovery has really changed me as a person, and it's changed all my relationships. I'm really thankful for it.
Awesome. Tad, what are you grateful for tonight?
I'm grateful that my program is at a point where I can let you do that and not have to compete with you and beat you. I'm doing that now.
Well, I'm glad I know what you're grateful for. Okay.
So I'm going to say, like always, I'm grateful for my family. I stole that from Tim, by the way.
No,
I'm grateful for
all of
my
us.
recovery family and my real family too. So don't get salty, but I'm grateful for my recovery family. I'm grateful that I have people where we can have real conversations if there are issues and they can help me through. If I have I don't know, my relationship with Tim has taught me a lot, and I'm really grateful for that today because just the times that in other areas of my life where I would have been like, hey, yo, fuck you. Tim's like, but dude, you can be straightforward with me and I'm not going to do that. And then seeing lately, not that he's done anything wrong, but when he felt that I don't know, what would it say? He promptly admits when he thinks he's wrong, even if he doesn't need to. So that's been helpful to kind of have a brother that's being accountable and we can talk things through. That's been pretty helpful, even though he's always freaking busy.
Hey. Whoa.
I'm also grateful for the weather. Tim, what are you grateful for?
Life. No, I am grateful for life. Mommy, daddy, I love you. Yeah, I'm grateful for family, of course. Grateful to be able to experience moments and be there, be present for these moments. I watched my niece's boyfriend come to us like an adult, something that I was too far gone to ever even imagine doing. Like, I was able to learn from someone half my age how to be a man. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm grateful to be able to be present for shit like that today. Like, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. I just don't even know I want to convey this out to you guys, how moving it was. Like, to watch this kid sit in front of these adults and, like, do some adult shit.
Yeah.
Like, I was raised right. I knew how to do those things, but I just chose this other path. And, like, to see that and to be able to be grateful for those moments, like, to have family that cares for me, have all these cheerleaders that check into the show that have our backs and, like, listen, and to know we're helping people. Like, I'm just grateful for that type of shit. Like, I really, truly am.
I forgot.
Oh, Ted, is there anything else you're grateful
Yes.
for?
Well, there's two things. One, I have to privately talk to you about.
Okay.
Not on the air. So, dun, dun, dun. And two,
You're not going to propose to me right now.
oh my God. Wow. Anyways, and so actually, and this is this week because I've got to do it. I've had it done. I talked about my friends being there for me, but I'm grateful that this week, well, not just this week, but I'm grateful that I get to be there for people.
Right.
When someone's having a rough day and they tell me, I get to do things that help them just like people do for me. And there's not an ulterior motive. I had a friend who struggled. Well, she didn't struggle. Life fucking happened, and she was just dealing with it. So I was able to just, I bought her flowers because she had a rough day. I talked to her and was just able to be there as support, and there wasn't any extra shit there. And I'm able to. I'm not able to show up like that when I'm using.
Right.
I mean, I would have showed up with a bunch of dope, and we would have done this
And an agenda.
Right.
yeah, probably an agenda, and made
Definitely
the
an
situation
agenda.
worse by like I would have been like, yeah, let's go,
You made it about yourself.
the
Talk their ear off.
yeah.
Yeah. You didn't make it about yourself. You're able to be there for someone else.
It wasn't
genuinely.
and, and so even I'm also grateful that I'm able to identify emotions after that because
Right.
I was sad at the end of the night.
You
and
told me that. You shared with me today. I was
didn't,
drained because
I didn't connect the dots because nothing bad had happened to me, and
Right.
then.
But you're emotionally
empathy or what?
Yes.
Yeah. So I hung out. We hung out at bowling. Me and her usually go win stuffed animals, and we give them out to people, and it makes her night. And her energy was off because she had an off day.
Right.
And at the end, I'm like, I feel sad, but we had a good time. Like
That's
I
what
didn't
we
connect.
do. Like
and,
we care for people now. Like you feel that.
And-
Feeling empathy, yeah.
yeah, and it's and I forgot that when I am clean, that's who I am.
Yeah.
I have empathy. I do
Yes.
take on other people's emotions. That's why I do have boundaries, and that is one of the reasons that I only go so far personally in relationship. And like that's what I'm working on now is working on a connection because I only make superficial connections. Right. I only let people get so close to Tad.
Like what can I get out of?
Because I am an emotional guy and I do get very empathetic, and the reason I only do that is to protect myself, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's a good thing to be grateful for, though.
right. What's the time looking at? Oh, we got 6 minutes, but we can always go over. 'Cause-
I'm also grateful for humility because that's what allows us to learn.
right.
And that's something that's, you have to get to a certain depth to really get some humility.
You want to talk about humility? It's like we learn a lot of humility.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Did
Humility.
Is
There
that-
you go. There's some first class for humility.
that make your day?
It made my day. Tad makes my day every day. Like
you show
it's
that-
usually me. Who's
Show them what you
it's
do.
usually me
Did you
doing
see
the
what
dumb stuff. Like
He
he said something on air that I'm gonna.
We're not going to repeat it.
Yeah.
That happens.
Like he said some things on air that like usually it's me who puts my foot in my mouth and
Hey,
says
man.
something like wordsmith or something related to that.
Yeah. What?
I'm so glad you guys came on
It
tonight.
was
Yeah.
in context.
Yeah, but still, we get to buzz balls about that later. Like that's what us guys get to do. Like I'm so giving it to them later.
Oh, you know what we didn't? We got to do a buzzer beater, but you know what we
Oh
didn't
hell
do?
yeah, we're doing buzzer
So
beater.
before we do the buzzer beater, I want to thank our guests.
Yes.
Thank you, Erin, and thank you, Victoria. How was it?
Yeah.
Thank you for having us on.
What was it like? What were you? We have time. What did you expect versus what it was?
I'm really grateful that I came. I had a really great time. I learned, and it's just, again, it's good to be around like-minded people. I get inside my head by myself too long.
Yes, we all do, or I do all
might-
the time.
Yeah, I mean, it always amazes me just how people in recovery can be as different as they come, and we can all bond and share and understand each other. Like we're all speaking the same language. We're all family.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to walk you guys through when I approached you guys about this. And then I got a couple
What,
questions.
the
So I
buzzer
approached
beater?
you. No, these two. I approached them about being on the show, and I was all pumped. And they were like,
2 hours? What are we going to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
for
Everybody
2
said that.
hours?
right.
Everybody.
And they were like, you want us? And
I don't think they made that face, bro.
But and then I told them they were going to be on a month, and I promised them, and we started booking shows, and I
Yes.
double booked, so they had to be on another month.
But it was perfect.
later.
The first
Yeah, yeah.
week of Women's Month.
Yeah, it was all
glad
planned.
you
By,
guys
it
were-
was all
yeah.
planned by the
I know,
mastermind.
yeah.
We
Ego.
know. Oh, thank you. Hey,
Real quick,
Go ahead.
I got
thank you,
Jane. You know what? She puts the Gratitude Cafe. You cannot beat it. It's $5. I don't know how.
Tater tot freaking hot.
Yes,
dish tonight.
but that's not it. It's like you get a big ass helping of this tater tot,
Chocolate
cake. You get
Cookies.
Jello, cookies,
Coke cookies or something like
There's
that.
so for $5 you're not gonna be hungry.
Salad.
Like yes, it's the biggest meal you're ever gonna get for
Garlic
$5,
bread.
and it's homemade with love.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
with love. Like
Yeah.
that's here at
And
2218.
well, it's called the Gratitude Cafe.
yeah.
so, you
That's
know.
part of this whole 2218 thing. I'm beside myself. This place is a lifesaver. Bottom line.
Oh yeah.
Like my hand
you know-
motion. Bottom line.
So
Lifesaver.
Full disclosure.
All day. Full disclosure. Safe.
oh man, she's just the best
Almost
cook.
knocked someone out. Yeah, Mama's cooking. That's right, Aaron.
So buzzer beater.
Buzzer. Do
I,
you guys know-
I had 7.
Oh,
and I
great.
have none now.
So here's what a buzzer beater is basically he's going to ask us, well, I'm letting him think of the good one.
I got it.
A buzzer beater is he's going to ask us a question and like off the top of your head, boom, turn your mic on, Elena. You know you're playing this game. So like just for example,
You
like
don't want to know the first
like,
thing in my head.
No, first thing after the
after
question.
the
yeah.
question, Sicko, like 1 week he was like, if you could make a recovery dish, like or a product, what would it be? And like we're like,
Well,
like,
Tim was so mad because he said, "What did you say? Something chilly?"
a bunch of things. I
But
don't.
oh yeah, you were the king of that game.
Yeah, there's a bunch, and people
until,
couldn't come
until
up
we
with them.
until we asked you to do it again
That's when
and
you
put you on the
kill
spot,
the
and then
thrills.
you yeah.
like I don't, sober. No, we had all sorts of things.
Oh, we
dude.
had great.
Yeah,
I had great.
sober salad or like
Yeah.
someone came up with Serenity shampoo,
Yeah.
like something like that. Buzzer beater, though, top of your head, and usually you're like, I don't know.
Well, yeah. So this week's buzzer beater is: what is one thing that you are looking forward to doing with the change of the weather?
Elena, you're the weather person. What's the one thing you're looking forward to doing with the change of the weather?
With the
Quick.
nicer weather coming.
I'm looking forward to chasing waterfalls.
Oh, get out of here, TLC.
I know.
Oh.
I love going to different waterfalls.
Oh,
You have no idea how many waterfalls are in the state of
That's
Minnesota.
what's up.
real
That's
talk.
what's up.
I do
Go
not
all
know.
over the place, and then I can do the agate hunting, and I can beat Leon with all of his agates, and I can do all these fun things. But
That's
it's
what's up.
nature. It's all about
Any-
Shots fired.
Yeah, anything that anyone can do that's better
Than
than
Leon?
Leon, I'm for. That's great.
Oh shit, Aaron. With the change of the weather, what's one thing you're really looking forward to doing in recovery here?
Hooping outside with my daughter and my girlfriend and her sons.
You hoop.
Oh,
I'm a hooper. We're hoopers.
Ooh.
It's a hooping family.
Like
That's
hula
not what I
hooping?
thought she said.
like
Wow.
She
Wow.
means basketball.
Yeah, hit me up.
Hula hooping. Ah.
She was like one of
No,
those on
she's
Titty
not hula
Beach, like-
hooping.
Yeah, like around my neck and my
Right,
arms.
right.
Like,
Oh.
No,
Titty Beach.
no, she's throwing it down.
Just doing it all. Yeah.
I couldn't.
Okay, so Victoria, what's the first thing you cannot wait to do with this weather change?
I want to swim across every lake in Minneapolis, Cedar Lake, Harriet. I'll swim across Calhoun. I don't care.
Yeah. Hey. That's awesome sauce.
Timmy Two Toes.
Timmy Tuto, fishing, bro. You know me.
Yeah,
Fishing.
I knew it was.
My boy Ron's listening now, and he's calling me after the show to say, we going down Sunday? Because the river should be opened up.
Oh, you're already getting into it.
Aaron's on.
Dude,
He just crossed.
Dude.
He's like, dude, you don't even know. I've been
Dude.
thinking about it.
fishing. Tad, what is the first thing?
Or not
What
the
is-
first thing. What am I looking forward
What
to?
are you looking? I know I reworded your question. All right, what is the first thing you're looking forward to doing in recovery
it's not
with
the
the weather
first,
change?
but-
What do you
So-
want to do with this weather change? Dan?
Volleyball.
That's right.
So, yes.
He's a volleyball whore.
Yeah, I know. And this show is on during my volleyball time.
We're gonna be going, dude. We're gonna have the show at the courts.
I'm not going to be
Exercise
able
hours.
to do.
But I have my new co-host right here. When you're at the volleyball courts,
Okay,
I'm gonna be
okay.
fishing.
We're going to fight
anyways.
off air. We don't need to fight on air.
What are we running with here?
Aaron says bonfires.
Oh yeah, bonfires.
We're
Yeah,
all
just
looking.
meeting outside with people
Bonfire-
too.
yes, bonfire meeting.
Dude,
meetings.
you know, if we close the show in a minute, we will have ended on time and started on time. That's never,
First
ever
for
happened.
everything. No, it hasn't.
We're going to go
Because
over
there's
this.
more
That's what
women in this
happens
room
with.
than there are men.
I was just gonna say Women's Month. What else did you expect? It's gonna happen on
Oh, that's. Oh.
sexist. I know.
No, it's probably right. They're right. I've learned in my recovery to just, you
We
know,
all have
they're
different
right.
strengths, okay?
Ah.
The-
And
I
ours
want
are better.
I want to thank you guys for being on the show and making sure we were on time and making the show better.
Yes. Yes. From me to you too, both. Thank you for being on here. I really appreciate
Elena,
you guys
thank you
coming.
for being awesome and doing
Thank you, Elena.
all the stuff. Thank you, Elena.
Elena, you're everywhere. all
Are
the
we?
time.
Are
Helping
you
everyone.
are you ready to click the button so we have so many time?
10:01.
Yeah, we're ready.
Yeah. Close us out.
We just want
Cool.
to
Yes.
say bye to everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Have a great week, and we will see you next week.